Yeah, Chill said he doesn't load manage.
Nah, I'm telling everybody. I was ready to go tonight. They told me to sit down. They gave me the night off. I told them that I was ready to go. They was like, "Nah, you sit down tonight." Nah, that was me.
Chill, is this potentially a shot at somebody?
No, absolutely not.
You
I
just
just
speaking
take
for yourself.
I just take pride. I take pride in coming to work and being at work. That's all. I've
Yeah.
always been like that.
Me
Okay.
too. Me too.
Well, it's good to have you guys here. Some people couldn't make it, but we're gonna make it happen as best we can, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. You can see the title of the show. We will be ranking the best duos in the NBA this year. This is exciting. I love to do these type of segments because I like to. First off, we got to talk and see who are the best players on these teams. It's some teams that potentially have four top duos. So we got to figure out, like the Celtics, for instance, is it Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Some people may say it's Jaylen Brown and Porzingis. Some people may say it's Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum.
No,
You know,
Come on now.
we got to work through these certain things. The Knicks.
Sure.
That one's
Is it Julius
easy.
Randle?
That one's easy. Try figuring out who the Cleveland Cavaliers' second best player is.
See,
That's
See?
harder.
So,
that's
Chad,
much harder.
we're going to go through every team and we're going to figure out the best duos. And then we got a lot of other good things that we're going to get into today. Before I do that, everybody's good?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. Well, first team we're going to start with is the Detroit Pistons.
Oh boy.
Let's just start in poverty, fellas.
Detroit.
Okay, so how are we doing this? Are we doing the tier list?
You know what? We need to
Or
order.
we just want to talk about it? Well, number one, we need an order. Number
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
we
we need
need some context in how we're ranking these things out. So I definitely way overthought this. So I was thinking to myself, how do I get rid of my bias? How do I judge a player like Jokic versus a player like Randall versus a player like Brunson? You know what I mean? Like how many points am I signing? So what I did was I came up with a metric that I'm going to use. And y'all don't have to use this, obviously, but I'm just explaining my rationale for this. So I had a system. MVP, if you have an MVP candidate, like which is like legit 3-4 players, you get 6 points. If you have a first team guy, you get 4 points. You get an all NBA guy, you get 3 points. You get an all-star, you get 2 points. You got a sub all-star, you get 1 point. And you don't have one of those players, you get nothing. So your dynamic duo is basically one player and nothing. So, and then I just added a multiplier for how well those players play together. That's it. That's a very simple system. And it was surprising what that did to my rankings. Because sometimes it was like, we feel like these two players are great because, you know, they're coming off a nice run.
Right.
But then these other two players, maybe they didn't have the greatest season, but they're really good players. So that's where I'm going to be. I think the rankings ended up pretty fair. But how are we ranking these? Are we ranking tiers, like top 5? Like, are we just going 1 through 30? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're going to go 1 through 30. Chat, I do need an order. And you guys get to place them where you want to place them. So we'll use the Detroit Pistons as our benchmark. And then it's either above or under. And then you'll tell me exactly where you want to put her.
To Penn's point, when we're talking about these duos, what they've done and what they're doing in the future, what they can do in the future also, I think matters. Now, what they've done in terms of accolades, a lot of people like to take accolades off the table. Like a lot of that stuff matters because a lot of that the accolades are a result of what you produced. And what this duo, like Jamal Murray and Jokic, what they produced. They produced NBA championships. That's the accolade for what they produced in terms of the buckets that they get, in terms of what Joker did, in terms of the tough shot maker that Jamal Murray is. They produced an NBA championship. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They produced Jason Tatum for what he produced as a player. Jaylen Brown for what he produced as a player. Being an all-pro. That ultimately ended up being, those accolades ultimately ended up being the result of what they produced, plus an NBA championship. So when you're talking about ranking guys, like stuff like the accolades 100% matter. Yes, they do.
Okay, but how do you rank a player who's like in their second year? That's difficult, right? They don't probably have the accolades, but maybe they're a better player right now, right? Like Paolo Banchero is your guy, Paolo. He's in his second year. What's his accolades right now? 1 All-Star game.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you'd rather have him over a couple of 6-time, 7-time All-Stars. Who would you rather have right now, Paolo or Harden?
Paolo, right? Paolo.
Don't stop there, Penn. I would rather have him over Paul George too.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. I'll take
That's-
him over Paul George
That's
today.
tough.
Yes,
so,
I would.
Well, that's what I'm saying. His accolades don't mean shit right now because he's a second-year player, right? So I don't know. It's hard to measure past, present, future. You could say this is like a draft. Like, who would you rather have right now? I don't know. But who would you rather have 5 years ago? I don't know about that. Like, I'm trying not to focus too much on the past, because if I start focusing on the past and I'm trying to
it
rank
gets tricky.
Kawhi fairly right now, like Kawhi is a 2-time Finals MVP. I can't.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
hard for me. The
I see where you're
accolades
coming
are. He's a top 75 guy. James Harden's a top 75 guy, isn't he? Harden made
James
the list.
Harden,
too.
yes, he is. He
Yeah.
did make it.
So the LA Clippers have two all-time top 75 guys as their
Sure.
dynamic
Yeah.
duo,
for
and I'm
sure.
not super high on them right now.
So to answer your question, Penn, okay, so would that mean that today going forward, as a duo today moving forward, because again, you're talking about a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Okay, well, what
Mhm.
has Kawhi Leonard shown you over the last 4 years? So if we're talking about today moving forward, would you rather have Kawhi Leonard or Tyrese Halliburton?
Kawhi,
Okay, if I'm being
Tyrese
fair,
today.
Tyrese, because he's younger and he's
Right.
relatively healthier.
Sure.
But I'm a Kawhi guy, man. I like Kawhi.
I love Leonard. He's just made of glass. That's all.
Yo,
He's got
Penn,
bad wheels.
I
Tyrese
don't
spent
like
the
how
whole-
you. I don't like how you even paused about that. Like when he asked you, you had to sit back and think about it and all of that. I don't think this is even a debate.
I don't think so.
Oh,
neither.
it's a debate.
No, it's not.
It is a debate.
Mhm.
You can debate Kawhi Leonard and Tyrese. Tyrese
Moving
Halliburton.
forward,
Next year, yes, you can debate who will have
No
the better
way.
season next year. Yeah, you can
Mm-mm.
debate it. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton just spent the entire season injured, or half the
Yeah.
season injured. Why are we saying like he's not made of glass?
He missed more
He doesn't
games than
defend.
Kawhi.
He doesn't
last
defend.
season.
Yeah, he missed more
Yes,
games than Kawhi.
he pulled that hammy. Then he was hurt, and then he pretty much limped to the finish line. He was hurt the entire playoffs. I'm not saying he's not a hell of a player,
Right.
but please put some respect on Kawhi Leonard's name. Like, he is still in his. I won't say he's not in his peak, but he's still a very, very good player when he plays. I don't know.
That part I won't argue, Penn. I won't argue the fact that Kawhi.
I'm
Leonard
saying
is
it's
still a damn good-
debatable. I'm saying I'll give you Tyrese Halliburton, but don't
Sure.
talk to me like it's not a conversation. It's a
I'm-
conversation we
I
can
don't think
have.
it's-
We
I
didn't
don't
say
think it's a
Giannis versus.
No, I don't think it's a conversation moving forward because I don't think Leonard's going to be around. That's why I don't think it's a conversation moving forward.
What's happening to him? He's not going to be around.
Oh,
You retiring? Is he? You chill. Are you medically retiring Kawhi Leonard right now?
I am, to be honest with you. Yes, I am.
That's
yes, I don't
nasty
think he's gonna.
word.
I don't think he's gonna hold up. But to your point about Tyrese Halliburton, I mean Tyrese Halliburton slipped on the floor. That's what happened.
All
He
right.
slipped on the floor and pulled his hamstring. It's not like it's not like he's getting banged up and he's got knick-knack injuries. No, he slipped on the floor and pulled his hamstring. Up until that point, everything was fine. Leonard, on the other hand, again, he's had an injury that's gotten significantly worse over the
He
years.
just played 70 games. Chill.
Yes, he did, and then broke down in the playoffs.
Fellas,
Again, for the fourth
we
time.
are about to get into this list.
Mhm.
Before we do that, we're gonna go on a quick break. You guys stick around and we're about to dive straight into this list. I wish Ox was here so I could press the button right now.
What up, PC Nation? Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this July with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced. Head to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 and use code PlayersChoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code PlayersChoice50 at factormeals.com/PlayersChoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ironically, that ad pops up, and Ox sent through an order for us.
Mhm.
Chill. I'm starting to think Ox likes that ad. That's what I'm starting to think. See, you think he doesn't like it. I
You
think he
cut him off
does.
mid-sentence yesterday. That was nasty.
That was
Pen, it's
hilarious.
Pen. When I see
laughed
this
my
dude,
ass
it's
off.
on site. I'm
Chill.
telling you, when I
Chill
see
that-
this dude, it's on
I
site. As
wasn't
soon as
on
I
the
see him,
show. The ad was on auto start.
I don't want to hear it, Ron. I
The
don't
time
wanna
was
hear it.
already set.
Ron be on a date and he just put up his phone to his date and just be
Right.
like, "It's
I don't.
factor."
I don't want to hear it, Ron. When I see you, it's on. It's just be prepared to get it on. That's all I gotta say when I see you.
You
All
weren't
right,
even
so,
hosting and you did
I,
that.
I have my sneakers tied up. Chill.
That's it. As
I'm
soon as
ready
I
to
see
rock
you.
and roll.
Ain't
But
got
all right,
nothing, so.
MTL you first, Pin you second, Chill you third, and this is why Ox always gets the ad because he put me last. Let's go ahead and get into it. The list is essentially, once again, I'm gonna give you a team.
Mhm.
You are gonna decipher who their two best players are,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna decipher where at on the list you're gonna put them.
Okay.
All right. As I was saying, the first team that you got is the Detroit Pistons. So you gotta let me know
Good
the top
luck,
two players there.
MTL. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
2
Yeah.
words. Good luck.
I'm gonna be honest, theirs is actually pretty easy. Ironically enough, I actually like watching the Pistons, even though they was losing.
So it was a bad watch, but a good time.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what you're coming into, I mean, you know, you walking in there, they're probably gonna lose.
I got some low budget movies that I have a good time watching.
Yeah, I feel like that. Sorry.
Pistons
But,
are not a low budget movie. Okay.
But
They're
yeah,
pretty high budget. They're a high budget train wreck. Like, what are we talking about?
right now you have to say though is Cade and Durant.
I agree.
Just watching a team, you could clearly tell both of them. Durant does need to work defensively though. I'm a little worried about that, so I'm not sure how high I'm going to have them in the long run. So
I don't hate that, and the reason why I don't hate that because I think JB Bickerstaff is going to make Durant better as a defender. He's proven that with competent defensive players, he can have a good defensive team, and I think Jalen Duran's going to be on an Olympic team in 28. And off the strength of how good I think JB Bickerstaff can make him as a defender. It was supposed to be Ivy and Cade, but I feel like Monty Williams kind of screwed that up because he had no idea what he was doing with those guys. Then you add a sword. Then you add a sword to the team who he's still limited offensively. Defensively, he looks like he can be really good. But if I had to choose between the two, because again, we're talking about a bigger league in the future, I can see Cade and the sword. I can see Cade and Jalen Duran being those two guys.
yeah,
I'm okay. I should have pushed back the last time you said it, but I got to push back this time, Joe. Jalen Duran as a defender. What are you seeing that I'm missing? Because I watched a lot of this guy last year. I don't see a good defender. I don't see a top 5 defender. I honestly, at times, I did not see a competent defender. Rotations are late. Feet are slow.
Yep.
He's a good rebounder. That's it. He could block a
Okay.
couple shots.
Yep.
What does he do?
Okay.
Defensively.
Okay, so that part right there, we already have down. The fact that he can glass clean and he can rim protect. Okay, so now last season, we got a guy in Monty Williams who has no idea what he's doing with this kid. He doesn't know how to put him in position to defend. He doesn't understand rotations because he's not being taught that. If I watch Cat this year in the 23-24 season as a defender, as opposed to the year before, he's a totally different guy in that scheme. Completely different. He understood how to play the 4 much better, as opposed to the year before. He looked like he was just spinning around. He had no idea. He didn't have any idea how to switch, pick and roll. He didn't have any idea how to drop. Jalen Duran is playing in a system with Monty Williams where they don't play drop. He doesn't understand how to play drop. He doesn't understand how to hedge. And again, we're talking about a young guy. When we get JB Bickerstaff in there, who has taught Evan Mobley, who's taught Jared Allen, who has Donovan Mitchell, he's familiar with bigs. On top of that, he's grown up around guys like Gary Payton. As a coach, he understands how to teach defense. And I feel like Jalen Duran is competent enough to understand it. I don't think Monty Williams actually took the time to recognize what he had with just the raw talent and hone it. I think JB Bickerstaff will do that.
I think Monty knew exactly what he had. You had the bag, right? He showed up, said, "Don't come at me, man. I'm trying to take some time away from the game." They're like, "No, take some money. Come coach these young kids. They could use some guidance." We had Dwayne Casey. former coach of the year, Dwayne Casey, he couldn't do shit with these guys. Come here and do this. And he's like, all right, yo, I've never seen someone so honest in their presser when he got hired. And they said, why did you do this? Why are you doing this to yourself, Monty? And he said, money.
For the bread.
He took the money and he left.
Hey, from here on out, his name's not Monty Williams. I'm calling him Monty Williams.
Money Williams.
Monty
Money.
Williams.
Yeah,
Y'all see the Simpsons meme where Grandpa Simpson walks into the strip club and just walks out? That was Monty Williams walking into the Pistons organization and just walking right the hell out. I think he knew exactly. Like I love the idea of Jalen Duren, Mark Williams, these two guys in that draft. I was like, I get it. I really like Jalen Duren. Fun fact, I think the Pistons would have picked Jalen Duren at 5 had the Kings picked Ivy at 4. They got him at 13. So that was a massive steal for them. But this idea of him being a great defender, again, as the analytics would show, not so much, right? The block percentage is all right. People saying he doesn't rim protect they're just not watching the game. He does, but not at an elite level. Elite rookie rim protectors are like guys like Walker Kessler, Christian Coloco. When he was with the Raptors, I know a lot of y'all didn't watch him, but he was an elite rim protector. Rudy Gobert. Jalen Duren is nowhere close to that. As a rebounder, though, I'll give you that. As an offensive rebounder, I'll give you that. But as a defensive rebounder, his defensive rebound rate was not great. So he's chasing a lot of blocks. So again, good glass cleaner on the offensive end helps him on offense. He's not that great. I mean, he's relatively efficient around the basket. That's about it. I don't think he's like, if he's your second best player, that's your problem. That's a big problem. Is he better than Tobias Harris right now? Is a question. I know he will be better going forward, but as a player right now, that's tough. I like Jalen Duren. Big fan. Sure. Cannot get on board with this like defensive.
Here's the thing though, Penn. You just mentioned him as a glass cleaner and as a rim protector and chasing blocks. Okay, so those are the things, like I said, that are raw talents. It's basically like running fast and jumping high. Like we can't really teach that. He can do. Now we can hone that skill and we can turn him more into a roamer, right? We can turn him more into not necessarily a stationary defender. We can turn him more into a roamer who knows when to get to a spot, when to stay in a spot, be more conscious of blocking shots, when to block shots, things like that. We can turn him into that. And I feel like that's where JB Bickerstaff, can come into that space. We got a bunch of defenders in the game today, especially big guys who are roamers that are really good roamers, but aren't very good one-on-one defenders. I think Jaren Jackson is a really good roam defender. I don't think he's that good of a one-on-one defender. I think he fouls a lot.
Is he a top 20 center right now? Jalen Duren. Is he a top 20 center?
20 bigs in the game. I mean, yeah. I don't think that's a measuring stick. And the reason why is because we've seen guys who aren't in the conversation for top 10 or top 15. And I
didn't say top 15. I said top 20.
Let's just say top 20.
I say an average starter. You're not even an average starter. If you're not making top 20, you're not an average starter. So I'm asking you the question. Is he an average starter?
I think he's an average starter today. I do. Yes.
Okay, I don't. Yo, MTL. What were your two again?
Caden. Yeah.
Caden. Okay.
Caden Jaden.
All right, y'all. We got to move on to the next squad. The next squad I got for you guys is the Chicago Bulls. And Penn, you were second? Yep, it's on you, Penn. You got the Bulls.
That's a tough one. Because it's Zach LaVine and I don't know. Okay. What's the I don't know? Can I just get really high on Matas Buzelis? No, it's going to be Josh Giddey, right? Mm-hmm. It's got to be Josh Giddey. It's LaVine and Giddey. But is it LaVine, Giddey, or is it Kobe? Kobe White was pretty good last year. Mm-hmm. So that's one of those teams where I understand a Chicago Bulls fan or maybe even Hayes watching this being like, yo, Penn, we're not this bad. But, it's tough because you don't really have a dynamic duo. You have like a guy who's pretty flawed in his own respect, but also kind of underrated right now in Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine's a bucket. Zach LaVine's very dynamic. Zach LaVine's pretty injury prone though. And I have a feeling we're going to dock a lot of guys for being injury prone. He's pretty injury prone. The second guy is like, again, is it Josh Giddey or is it Kobe White? Who y'all think?
I think it's Josh Giddey because they're going to put the ball in his hands more, and I think he's going to be more of a playmaker. I think he's going to be able to show more of what he can do with the basketball as opposed to last year. It was basically him and SGA. SGA is much better than him with the basketball. The Bulls are going to be bad, I think.
Yeah.
Because the Bulls are going to be bad, he's going to have a lot more room for error. So I think in the process of him having a lot more room for error, he's going to have a lot more room for improvement. So you're going to see a better passer throughout the I was about to say school year, I'm sorry, but throughout the season. You're going to see a better scorer throughout the season. Does he have a money mid-range game? No. Can he shoot the basketball? Sometimes he can, sometimes he can't, but there are situations where he can be unplayable. But then there are situations where he looks really good. So I feel like in his estimation, playing with the Bulls, he could be their second best player just off the strength of him having the ball as much.
Yeah.
I see that. I mean, whichever one we go. I mean, I'm gonna have to make a choice, and I'll choose Josh Giddey. I don't want to. I like Kobe White, but I'll give Josh Giddey the edge. I think he's a really good rebounder. He's a really good passer, and if the ball's in his hand, he's not terrible as a scorer. But I think Giddey. I think Kobe could play better off of Giddey than Giddey could play off of Kobe. So obviously, they're gonna put the ball in his hands. Underrated though. Last year, if we had done this preseason with the Charlotte Hornets, I don't think anyone would have picked Brandon Miller to be the second guy. I think a lot of people would have put Bridges. But now it's not a conversation. It's going to be Miller, right? So,
You think so?
that might be the case with Matas Buzelis this year.
Ron, we had this
really high on
conversation
this
last
kid.
year when we talked about Charlotte, and we saw Brandon Miller in the summer league last year. He wasn't good, and I said to you that I thought that he would be much better with LaMelo, just off the strength of the athlete that he is. How fast they played. I thought he'd be much better with him this season. I think the same thing.
Okay,
I don't think it's
so I'll go with Josh Giddey and Zach LaVine for now until Zach LaVine's traded. In which case we go Josh Giddey and Kobe White, but they're better, so we put them above the Pistons. This is not a good barometer to start with, Ron, because everyone's going to be better than Cade and Duran. Literally everyone.
It'll work itself out, especially with this next team that you got, Chill, the Indiana Pacers.
Well, Tyrese Halliburton is clearly their lead guard. Now, I don't think it's a question of who the number 2 is, and that's Pascal Siakam. I mean, I don't think they have anybody else on the crew that does what Pascal Siakam does outside of James. James, Jaylen Brown. I think Pascal Siakam, Giannis. I think Pascal Siakam is a top 5 transition player in the game. I don't think that there's 5 players in the game. I'm not saying wings. I'm talking transition players. I don't think there's 5 transition players in the game better than him. And the fact that he's running with Tyrese Halliburton, who knows when and how to get off the ball, I think that that's great. He also showed us just this last playoffs that he could still knock down the mid-range, that he could still score in that area. And I think that enhances their game. Can he defend? I think he's an okay defender. He's not a great defender, but he will compete on the defensive end. I like that about him. And Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, what else? What can you say about him in terms of a point guard that hasn't already been said? I think he's one of the best passers in the game. He also is really good at making open shots, which really keeps the defense honest. And these two together, considering what kind of game Pascal Siakam plays, I just think they complement each other really well.
Does it bother you that Pascal Siakam was not their go-to option down the stretch? I saw them put, like, when the game was on the line, season was on the line, I saw them putting the ball in the hands of Andrew Nembhard.
Yeah.
I saw them putting the ball in the hands of TJ McConnell.
Yeah.
I did not see them putting the ball in the hands of Pascal Siakam. You're talking about 2-time All-NBA. You're talking about NBA champion, multi-time All-Star in his prime.
Right.
Why are we not putting the ball in his hands if he's so good?
Would that be because maybe he didn't want, because there are stars who demand the basketball. It's not just, you just giving guys the ball. I mean, I've seen guys tell the coach, scrap that, whatever we're doing in the huddle, give me the ball. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that was his demeanor where, we should not go to Nembhard and the meat and potatoes of the game to get a bucket. I'm the guy. Give me the ball. I'll do it. And I think that maybe it may have something to do with his temperament that, he's not as forceful as asking for the ball. I don't think it's his game. I don't think his game is that. I don't think his game is in question. I think maybe his temperament is one of those guys who, he just got to Indiana. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He doesn't want to be.
He got there at the trade deadline. He's been there for a while.
I mean, 3 months. We talk, and again, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay here. So I don't want to ruffle feathers.
He was sure he was going to stay there for sure. Like they traded him. that positive.
I know it was about the bread, and I know that Indiana could pay the most. I did know that.
Indiana pretty much gave him a handshake deal when they traded him. The Raptors traded him to Indiana precisely because that was the team that was going to pay him a max, no questions asked. And they have some. Kevin Pritchard is a good dude. I've definitely.
He's a good GM. Like
he's a really good dude. So that was assured, regardless of what was going to happen. Pascal was going to get taken care of. My issue with this, of course, is I think partially it is about his game, and it's partially about what you said. Because if you said he's one of the top 5 transition players in the league, well, what's going to go away in the playoffs, Joe? Transition offense. You got to go way into the half court. And also, I will tell you that with the Raptors, they try putting the ball in his hands a lot as a closer. Like just Pascal, what? No, nothing. Just put the ball in your hands, go cook.
Right.
Burnt it every time, man. Like we're talking like one of the worst clutch percentages in the league. That's probably why. So I like his game overall. I like his bag. I just never liked his efficiency and the defense, which was honestly when he won a championship with the Raptors, I was hearing comparisons to Scottie Pippen. He's a very underrated passer. He was a very rangy defender at the time. You could have made a very competent case in 2018, 2019. Pascal Siakam was a top 20 defender in the NBA. His defensive regression has been something that should be studied by archaeologists. Like in the future, they dig up bones and shit, and they'll be trying to figure out why Pascal Siakam fell off defensively because he's still very athletic offensively. His game has expanded in a lot of different ways. It looks nice. The percentages argue differently. So he's still an all-NBA type of guy. I'll give him respect on that. But I worry about him as a closer. And I also worry about Tyrese Halliburton as a closer, which means if neither of those guys are closers, that opens up the door to Ben Mathurin and Andrew Nembhard taking shots with the game on the line, which is not a recipe for success. So that's, I mean, no disrespect to Andrew Nembhard. He's great, but
he did amazing in the playoffs closing last year. Him, TJ McConnell, they really closed by committee.
Closed. Yeah. I saw stretches of 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. He didn't touch the ball, Ron.
What, with Nembhard?
No, Siakam. Are you talking about Nembhard? Nembhard's dominant closer.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about as a unit. Like,
but you in a championship when your backup guard is closing is closing
Nembhard,
for you.
Nembhard starts. And last year he showed that he's beyond competent as off the ball, on the ball, whatever. It was times where he was their best player last year.
But what I'm saying is when you traded for Pascal Siakam, you telling me that's what you traded for. You traded, I'm not even saying they traded a lot. They traded 3 kind of suspect as hell first round picks. Bruce Brown. They traded nothing. They got Pascal for basically free. But when you traded for him, I mean, you telling me like that's what they were thinking. We got a closer, we can put him on the mid post, he can take those shots for us, and then you get to the playoffs, and as basketball goes, the ball finds the right man, usually.
It does.
That's usually how it goes, right? So if Pascal's passing out to Andrew Nembhard saying, no, you take it, there's a reason for that. Because he doesn't trust it.
I feel like, well, to answer your question, when I think about people that were guards that came off the bench for a championship team, first team come to mind has to be the Miami Heat when they had Ray Allen. Because, he didn't start. But they did go to him when they needed him.
Not as a creator, as a finisher, ML. That's different. I'd have never seen LeBron and D Wade be like, "Nah, we're good. No, we're good. Ray Allen, you take you create the final shot. No, Ray Allen, go stand your ass in the corner, and if we get doubled or tripled, we're gonna find you and you're gonna hit it." And he's one of the greatest shooters of all time, who is a former All NBA guy. He's not Andrew Nembhard. I think there's levels to this, and I do think that there's something missing from there. I'm curious to see if Ben Mathurin can take a step up. That's what I'm saying. But as a dynamic duo, there's something missing there. And defense is definitely it. Because if Pascal Siakam's defensive regression, the defensive duo is not doing it for me. And I think Miles Turner is a little bit overrated defensively, although I still think he's better than Chill thinks he is. But defense is going to be an issue if you got 2 defensive liabilities out there.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I got the Cavaliers next. And for me, this one's pretty easy. And I'm assuming, Chill, you're putting the Pacers above the Bulls and the Pistons, right?
I do have the Pacers above the Bulls and the Pistons, yes.
Okay. And remember, this is by duos. This isn't by teams.
No, so, just 2 guys. The number 1 and the number 2 guy. That's it.
All right, so as of right now, we got 3 teams. Caden Durant is at the bottom. Levine and Giddey, they're above them. And then at the top of the list so far, we have Halliburton and Pascal. Next, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. The two guys I'm going to go with is Mitchell and Mobley. I think they will easily be their two best players this year. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's a question. Nobody questions that. It's more so Mobley. Do you have Mobley? Do you have Garland? Do you have big fella Allen? But I think Mobley's going to have a breakout year. Big time year. So with that being said and done, I'm going to take them.
Do the right thing, Ron. Do the right thing.
Don't do this, Ron.
Don't make me pull the make me pull the Jordan meme out.
It's not that.
Stop it.
It's
really not. It's not.
Halliburton's going to have a better year than Donovan Mitchell.
Stop it.
Pascal Siakam
Get
is
some
an
help.
all-star.
Stop
Mobley will
it.
be an all-star.
What?
What do you mean what?
Ron, you just went to the end of the plank, and Penn actually extended some help so you don't jump off there, and you jumped off anyway. In a water full of sharks. He just told you that there's sharks in there. Don't jump off. He's telling you this, and you jumped off anyway.
Ron, you like that girl in the horror movie who just like, oh, what was that? Let me go see. Why are you doing this?
And we're telling you, don't open that door. Please don't.
I don't understand. MTL.
The killer is behind that door. Don't.
Am I missing something, MTL? What's going on?
I think from their perspective, they're looking at more so from the Donovan Mitchell angle. I question how far I think Mobley's actually gonna come this year compared to where I think Pascal and Halliburton is at. If I'm going off of who I think just clears, yeah, I'm with y'all on Donovan Mitchell.
Clears.
Really, the gap for me really comes to 2 and 3. Do I think that Mobley is going to be at least in the same range as Pascal and Tyrese? I'm not really sure about that. So I don't mind that, Ron.
Pascal is not in the same range as Tyrese. There is a notch.
Yeah, there's a notch.
notch.
There's a notch.
You're talking okay. Mobley next year. We're not talking accolades or all that stuff. Next year, you would if Indiana calls. If you're Cleveland right now, you're Cleveland Cavaliers GM right now. Hey, MTEL, ring. Okay. Mm-hmm. You want Pascal Siakam for Evan Mobley right now? I'm gonna give you Pascal Siakam for your big Evan Mobley, who just finished in his second year, finished top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. You want that guy?
For Pascal?
Hang up. Crazy. Institutionalized.
You are getting fired, MTEL, if you do that. You're getting fired. I promise you, you're getting fired. And by the way, Ron, the last time we seen Mobley play a full season, which was his year 2, he played 79 games. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. He was averaging almost a double-double. And just 2 years later, he's actually gotten stronger. And we've seen him work on his game. We saw him in the playoffs. We've seen him make shots. So now, when do these players get better? They get better in the summertime. We see him in the lab. All right. So can Evan Mobley apply what we've seen in the lab? Can he apply that to the floor this year and stay healthy? If he can do that, I think that we're looking at a dynamic duo.
I think they're definitely gonna be very good.
But
I think it's
but
close
Ron,
too. You've seen that I thought about it. It wasn't just definitively like, oh, I got the Cavs right behind him. No, like I think it's close, and I think Mobley's probably gonna be a little better than you guys may think he's gonna be, aside from Chill. But I just don't believe that those two are better than the two at Indiana.
Yeah.
And you know what this heavily relies on? You guys just sleeping on Hallie, the best distributor in the league.
We're not sleeping on Hallie. Just like how I feel. Oh, this is nuts.
Self-creation and defense are a thing, Ron.
Yes,
you can't be a one-trick pony here. And we just talked
about...
So
where's Mobley's self-creation? Where's Donovan Mitchell's defense? I can start critiquing things too.
Okay,
whoa! Stop right there with Donovan Mitchell. We're talking about defense. Donovan Mitchell's one of the better off-ball defenders in the game. So let's kill that right now, Ron.
Yeah, but he's not no hell of a defender though. Donovan Mitchell
better than Halliburton.
He doesn't change the game on the defensive side of the floor.
I didn't say he does, but what he does do is he competes, and he's a damn good off-ball defender. And he's not a cone, and he doesn't kill his unit on defense. Halliburton does, on the other hand. Ron, you're not going to beat teams scoring 130, 140. I watched y'all play Atlanta. Y'all gave up 141 points.
Chill, that's exactly how they beat teams. Outscoring them.
That's the only way they know how to beat teams.
In Halliburton,
if your dynamic duo cannot create efficient half-court offense at all, like, that's tough for me, right? Like, you don't have a single guy who covers for the other guy. It's an interesting
dynamic. Why were
dynamic.
they successful last year then?
They had one of the better.
Why did they exceed
you want the
expectations
truth?
then?
They had one of the better offenses in the game. I won't
You,
argue.
you want the
I mean,
truth?
like,
OG
y'all-
Anunoby got injured. That's why they were successful last year.
Yeah, they
Okay.
Julius Randle wasn't playing. Okay.
Okay.
Mitchell Robinson was hurt. Like there's a lot of things that went right. And
before
Indiana
that, throughout the regular season, what about that? You're just discounting that and throwing that out the window too?
they were what? What seed were they? Why are we acting like they won 60 games?
They overachieved. They did
Yes,
great.
they overachieved.
They did great for they exceeded your expectations. Went
Indiana
to the
did.
in-season tournament championship. They proved that they are a very good team.
You guys-
No
you
one
guys
is denying that they're good. They're not.
I thought they
I'm
were
not saying
playing
they're
team,
not a
man. I ain't
good
gonna argue
team.
that.
I'm
I
just
thought they were
saying.
playing team.
I initially I picked them. Honestly, I had a really random bet. I don't usually bet, but I picked them to make the Eastern Conference Finals. I was one of those people. I thought they were sneaky good. That doesn't mean that I think Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton as a dynamic duo complement each other well enough in the sense that, yes, they both do a lot of the same stuff. They're both really good transition players, but they're both not great defenders right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
They're both
That's
not
where y'all-
great at creating in the half court. So you could take them individually and say, man, great player, really great player, all NBA, both all NBA. That's a really good, but I like that. Oh, Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell have a little bit of yin yang to them, right? Like they can complement each other a little bit. Like Mobley can cover a little bit for Donovan Mitchell's on ball shortcomings because he's a great help defender, right? And Donovan Mitchell can cover up for the fact that Evan Mobley can't really create his own shots because he can create his own shots and he can create buckets. Like we saw it against Boston. Like he can go, right? So when Donovan Mitchell's going right and there's no contract dispute and he's not mad at his coach and everything's going right for him, I do think he's a better player than Tyrese Halliburton. It's not by a lot, but I think he's better. I think I could put Donovan Mitchell in the conversation for the best shooting guard in the NBA.
I think he is the best shooting guard in the league.
I think he's just marginally over Devin Booker, and I don't really see. I think he's better than Jaylen Brown. So that's where I'm at with him. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is the best point guard in the NBA.
Come on, that's nasty. Just
Luka?
because he's not the
Shea?
No, just because he's not the best point guard in the league, those are two different positions. One position can be deep, which the point guard position
That's
is
fair.
deep.
That's
and
fair.
one
That's
position can be
fair. That's
shallow.
fair.
Well, but I mean, we got to move on to the next team. Though, all I'm gonna say is when Halliburton comes out and has the better season than Donovan Mitchell, just remember you heard it first right here on Player's Choice.
Okay.
Next team we got is back to you, MTL, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks one is obvious too. Is Giannis and Dame. And by default, I have to put them at the top of this list again. More so because of Giannis. Like I'm very high on Giannis. As a lot of people may know from my takes. Dame is where you question a little bit, but we can be honest. Dame, talent wise, even though he had an off year, obviously talent wise, he's still up there with some of the better guards. So unless he shows me a even more clear decline this upcoming season, by default, I have to put them at the top of this list right now.
What was that decline for, though, MTEL? Like when you say he showed you he was going the other way. What do you think the reason for that was? Is it because he's getting older? Has his game suffered? Has his athleticism suffered? Was it the system playing with? What do you think it was the reason why he went the other way?
I would say it was a combination of a few things. For one, we all know, if we're being honest, he didn't want to go to Milwaukee. He wanted to go to Miami. I think a part of him feeling a little homesick. He was missing his family. He did speak on these things. I think he was distracted. He talked about how he didn't work out the right way. He didn't keep himself in shape coming into that season. So that could be a part of it. Age could be a denominator, but with age, I feel like you got to give it a couple, 2-3 years before you can really pull the age card. I think it's more so situation changing, getting used to the team, and the fact that he didn't come into the season as ready as he should have been. I think
number one, he didn't work out all offseason because he was afraid of getting injured prior to the trade. Number one. Number two, I agree. He did want to go to Miami, clearly. And number three, divorces are hard.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, it could be just an off season. I think Damian Lillard is the type of guard where you could make an argument, he's undersized guards age poorly, but he's also a deep shooter and also a really hard worker. And also, maybe you could argue he doesn't have as many miles on him as a lot of these other guys do, right? He didn't really play like as much as some of these other guys did. He's a, yeah. So I think you could make an argument that yes, they are clearly better. They are the best duo that we've discussed so far.
Yeah.
All right, that one was kind of easy, I suppose. So we got the Bucks at the top. Well, we got Giannis and Dame at the top. Below them, we have Halliburton and Pascal. Then Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. Zach LaVine and Josh Giddey. Kate Cunningham and Jalen Duren. That's how we looking right now. Next, it's back to you, Penn. And let me see what team you have next. You have the Washington Wizards.
I knew it. I was thinking Washington, and I was like, it's gonna be Washington because you know what? This is tough, right? Because I really, 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 really don't like Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
And Lord help me, I think I like him better than I like Kyle Kuzma. So no, I can't do that.
Do it. Do it.
Can I put them below the Pistons?
I would.
That's crazy though, because I mean, be for real, like, yeah, I'm gonna put them below the Pistons.
Penn, I don't even think
the Pistons were
Yeah,
number one
think
seed. Yo, Ron, you really trolling Detroit right now. You better sleep with one eye open, Ron. You had the Pistons at the 1 seed. You gave them the 1 seed. You gave them a bit of hope, and now you got them just moving down. I gotta give Detroit a little bit of hope back. So we're gonna put the Washington Wizards below the Detroit Pistons, and I don't know. I think it's partially because I'm crazy, but I can't get myself behind the defensive liability that is Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. Inefficient offense, immaturity. Neither one of them are spring chickens, like where they're like 21, 22, where I'm like, they could get better. So if I'm the Detroit Pistons and the Washington Wizards call me up and be like, we'll give you Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma for this, I would say hell no. Now the real dynamic duo, probably the future duo, is not their best players right now, which is probably who they're building around, Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly.
Yep.
Now that is a different equation because I'm really high on Bilal, but as of right now, their dynamic duo is not their two future pieces, so I'm gonna put them all the way at the bottom.
And who you got exactly?
Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, 30th seed. No one's worse than them.
So not so dynamic.
I want to add something to that too, because if you actually watch Wizards games, I know Mars agrees with me in this sense that like when you watch them, they were worse than the Pistons. I know the street. You can't get past the street, Chilltown. I know you can't get past the street.
They lost almost 30 games, yo. These dudes was garbage. Trash.
It's understandable.
This is on my TV. Oh my God. If it wasn't for Toronto, they would have lost 40 straight games. If it wasn't for Toronto, they would have lost 40
Toronto
straight
traded
games.
OG Anunoby literally the day of. The whole team was hungover, and they traded OG the day of. It's almost like, and you know what the crazy thing is? I was making podcasts for weeks saying Toronto was going to be the team to lose to them. I knew it was going to happen.
Oh my God.
I was saying this is going to happen, and I'm so glad they traded OG. So it's like everyone was distracted on that. Imagine a healthy Toronto team.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing.
Like, you have to look at it from this standpoint too. For one, we already brought up coaching with them. Their coach didn't even want to be there. He just said, contract bet. You said, I'm going to make money even if y'all cut me, bet. I don't care about this team at all. He coached like he didn't care about the team at all. Just doing stuff. They doing random lineup changes. They doing a lot of random stuff. Like there was no consistency with what they were doing at all. I think that played a huge part in it. More so than I just think Cade and Durant's just the worst. I watched Jordan Poole get benched multiple times on the Wizards as a starter. He came off the bench because he played so bad as a starter. I think saying that it was just him and Kyle Kuzma, I think it's clear they was worse. Kuzma wasn't necessarily as bad, but it's the fact that Poole wasn't their second best player last year. It was really Adlisha. It was really
gone.
him. And yes, he's gone now. So I was like, by default, I guess you could say it has to be Poole. But I'm not sure if Poole is even better than Alex Sarr. So I have to see what happens with that. So I agree.
That's
at the bottom.
tough. I think Bilal Coulibaly has a chance to be a little bit better than Jordan Poole this year, but he's not going to take more shots, and most people are not going to agree with that. So right now, it's the Pistons the Wizards are just really bad. And I agree that I don't think the Detroit Pistons were the worst team in the league. And I made a video about it, and I said, this is going crazy. A team can lose 28 straight and not be the worst team. They're just, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's variance, sometimes you just miss a couple shots. I looked on paper, and I did not think the Pistons were the worst team. And I definitely... You think they're going to be worse than the Pistons? Who do you think is going to be worse this year between the two teams, MTO?
The Wizards.
You think the Wizards are going to be worse? Tobias Harris making a difference. All right. Earn that money, Tobias.
I think the coaching is going to be the difference.
Yeah, I think coaching is going to be the
difference. But I don't like how people scapegoat Monty. Like I understand that he did not, his heart wasn't there. He's going through some personal stuff himself.
Yeah.
Right? Health stuff. I get it. But we talking like this guy's like the worst coach in NBA history.
No pin.
You think he did it on purpose?
I don't think he was there. That's all it was. You can be really good at something and your heart isn't in it. You can very well be that. And that's what happened with Monty last year. Monty Williams, I think, is a damn good coach.
Yeah.
I think Monty's one of the best coaches in the game. I don't think he wanted to be in Detroit last year. We've seen players that played in systems where they didn't want to be there and they look less than. That doesn't mean that they're bad players. I think the same thing happened with Monty Williams as a coach. I don't think he wanted to be in Detroit last year. You said it yourself. They made him take the job because they made him an offer that he couldn't refuse. And ultimately, his heart wasn't in coaching, so he was just there for the money.
But I got to be honest, like, there's a lot of coaches that they want to play a certain way, but there's extenuating factors that force them to play other guys. Maybe we're showcasing a guy for a trade. Maybe we're trying to tank. We act like coaches have carte blanche, and very few do. Eric Spoelstra has carte blanche. Greg Popovich has carte blanche. They can go to management and say, I don't like this guy, trade him. If some of these newer coaches go to management and say, I don't like the franchise player, they're like, peace. Your assistant coach is the new coach. You're out of here. This is the head coaching position in the NBA is a public facing political position more so than anything else. It's not a head coach it's not high school. I feel like a lot of us who played high school basketball assume that the head coach in the NBA does the same stuff. He does not. He's not determining all the lineups. You just signed a guy to a new contract and you want to bench him. Tough shit. You got to start him. You got to play him. You know this. So I don't know how much of it was Monty. What I saw was a lack of progression. That's on the assistants too, you know? It's like we know there are some great assistants in the NBA, like Phil Handy. Shout out to Phil Handy. Darvin Ham, when he was an assistant coach. These guys are massively contributing to the development, right? You take the shooting coach over in OKC. Like, it's a coaching staff. It's an organization. The head coach is just the guy. So if Monty's not in it, is his entire staff just not in it with him? Is all the players just checked out mentally because the head coach, like we've seen head coaches go through some personal struggles, step away from game, whatever. The team didn't fall apart the way they did. There's something rotten at the core there. It could be ownership, but I'm telling you,
but that could
the
trickle
Pistons
down,
were trash before Monty got there.
100% they were, which would explain why he didn't want the job. Which would 100% explain why he didn't.
No self-respecting person would want that job.
Yeah, that would explain why he didn't want that job, because he saw that roster, and yeah, they got some good young players in Cade, in Duran, in Ivy, right? They do have some good young players, but this is a rebuild, a legit rebuild. And is this something that I really want to be a part of? No, I don't. But they made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and it was obvious watching him. Like playing guys like Killian Hayes over Ivy. Like,
how do we know that's his decision? Did he say it was his decision? What if Tom Gores is like, yo, we need to trade Killian Hayes. We invested a 7th overall pick in him. Obviously, someone in the organization is really high on Killian Hayes because Killian Hayes is still on that fucking team, and he's proven for years he's not an NBA player.
Right. So with that, and with everything that you just said, so now compound that with, okay, now I got to play this guy who I know for a fact isn't better than this guy. That's going to affect my coaching because I got schemes, and the schemes that I have are predicated on this other guy playing. Yeah. This guy ain't playing, and I don't really like his game at all. So not only is that going to affect my coaching scheme, that's going to affect me coaching because I don't really have, quote unquote, the carte blanche, as you would say, to really coach the way I want to. And it affects me overall. And on top of that affecting me overall, like you just said, it becomes a cancer. It spreads throughout the whole crew. Well, I
Yep.
can't play this dude because if I can't play this dude, that means I can't play this guy neither. Now I might have to go to management and ask, well, can I play this guy? Can I play that guy? And then we get to a point where he gets fired. Why does he get fired? He doesn't get fired because they're bad. He gets fired because this thing isn't working. I'd rather just not be here. They rather would just pay me for me to get out of here as opposed to building this thing around me. $75 million, Ron? $75 million.
You're not complaining. I
Hell no,
guarantee
he
you
ain't
you're not
complaining.
complaining. But all right, y'all, we gonna move off of the Pistons. We've talked enough about the Pistons for the rest of the maybe year. But between now and the rest of the offseason, I think the Pistons have got their fair share of time here. But we gonna move on to the next team though. We got the Charlotte Hornets, and it's on you, Chill. Who are their top two players?
Their top player is, as of right now, is their point guard. And I'm really worried about whether or not he's going to be able to hold up. If he can hold up, he's playing at an all-star level. He's one of the better point guards in the game, one of the better passes in the game. His shot selection is a little bit tricky, but I could say that about a bunch of point guards in the league, right? I don't think it's just him. And their second best player who plays really well off him because they play fast is Brandon Miller. I love the way Brandon Miller plays in transition. I think he could be one of the better transition players in the game / one-on-one players in the game. I think his defense can improve, but with him playing off of LaMelo, I think he enhances LaMelo's game because he draws so much attention, particularly in transition. He draws so much attention. So that can enhance LaMelo's stop and pop game. That can enhance him getting to the basket because LaMelo's one of the better drivers in the game too. So I think these two guys playing off of each other, I think they could be good together. The question that I have about LaMelo is he made of glass? Because I just about had it, Ron, with this ankle injury. Okay, 1 year, he's out. And then the next year, he's out another half of the season. I don't know how much longer I'm in. I can tell you right now, I don't know how much longer I'm sticking around.
I don't think that he conditions well enough. Like, I feel like there's a lot of little clips that come out about things LaMelo Ball be doing, especially him with these cars, man. Oh man. He has like 50 car videos of him leaving Charlotte. I don't know why I keep seeing that, but LaMelo's tricky because I'm starting to be on that same side too. I'm starting to think it's just health, and he just might not be able to. I don't know. He might be like his brother. Unfortunately, as much as I love Lonzo as a player, it's unfortunate that might just be a thing that's in their family. It's just the injury, bug can be very unlucky. I agree with you in that sense. I think Brandon Miller is their second best player. But I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah,
Fellas,
I actually still think you
I gotta catch a plane. I gotta bounce.
All right.
I would love to keep doing this with you dudes, but I gotta bounce. Ron, I'm telling you. Ron, when I see you, I'm telling you right.
He cut him off. I thought he was gonna pull a factor on him. Ron, I'm gonna tell you.
I almost did, but I never do Chill like that. But Chill, when I see you, Hattie's ready. All right, had him ready.
Can't wait to see it, man.
All right, Chill. All right, y'all. We're gonna get back into it. Chill said what he said, Brandon Miller and LaMelo, but he didn't rank them. So, Pin.
I gotta rank them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them above Detroit.
Let me put the list on the screen so you can see. Put them above Detroit.
Yes. Come on now.
Yeah.
Clearly above Detroit. Clearly below Cleveland. Okay.
Like
we got to put them. I'm gonna put them. I'll put.
They gotta be above the Bulls.
I don't know about that.
I got
I'll put him above the Bulls because that's how much I believe in Brandon Miller. But honestly, like LaMelo's injury history and conditioning and defense and maturity and all that stuff is just it's worrying. But they're better than Levine and Giddey because they're both young players, I guess. Yeah, and they're both better. Yeah. Over. Okay. What's next?
Yeah, I love LaMelo. Obviously, you got the injury concerns and whatnot, but on the court, I don't have no problems with LaMelo. And he's shown that every year he does get better. He's better decision maker. He gets stronger, shows better ability to play make and stuff like that. I liked his progression. It's just a matter of, are you going to be healthy and are you going to be able to do it for the full
Okay,
duration?
so here's the question for you. Let's say Josh Giddey really blows up in Chicago. Let's say he becomes the player that a lot of people think he might become. He's a top 6 pick. Is there if I tell you Josh Giddey's gonna have a better season than LaMelo Ball this year, are you like shocked?
No, because
Me
I think
neither.
Josh is that good.
Okay, exactly. He is. And if I told you that Brandon Miller had a worse season than a bounce back season from Zach LaVine, let's say Brandon Miller had a second year slump, would you be that surprised?
Nah, not at all.
Exactly. So it is a debate. People,
when you put it that way, it is a debate. But I don't think that Josh Giddey's going to have a better season than LaMelo. And something's telling me that Brandon Miller's about to kill the league this next year.
He could. He very well could.
But all right, that's who we got. The next team, and it's on you, MTL, or it's actually on me. My bad. We have the Atlanta Hawks. This should be easy, or is it?
It's Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trae and Jalen, but where? I'm gonna put them. They better than yeah, they are better than LaMelo and Brandon Miller.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them right behind the Cavs.
Yep. That's a no-brainer.
Right.
So they're better than Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, but worse than Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
All right, we swinging back around. MTL is on you, and you have the Miami Heat.
Well, obviously the Heat is Jimmy Butler. It might not be, but
no, for now.
Right, for now, until he gets traded to the Warriors, apparently. But yeah, it's Jimmy Butler and Bam. I think it's clear to say that they're above the Mitchell and Mobley. Yeah. Wait, where would that put them on the list? Oh, I gotta see.
Hold on, I'll show you the list.
Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Yeah, actually put them right under the Bucks. Put them right
under the Bucks. You got it. You swinging them to the top?
Yeah, they're number 2 out of the teams I see right now.
Shout out Jimmy and Bam. Yeah, that's not crazy to say either.
No.
It feels crazy to say because Jimmy Butler is 35, 36.
I know.
It's 35.
Okay. I mean, you talking about guys in their prime, like in their 20s, like Halliburton and Mitchell. You're putting them over them. I like playoff Jimmy, but the regular season counts for something. And in the East, with the ascent of certain teams, you might not make the playoffs. So no playoff Jimmy if you don't make the playoffs. I don't know. I think that decline is coming, and I hope the ascent is coming for Bam. But if they trade Jimmy Butler, it's going to be Tyler Hero, and that is not. So I don't know. I personally, I'll put them below the Pacers and the Cavs. But it's debatable. They're in the same range. I'm having a tough time with 35-year-old Jimmy Butler with all his injury concerns, all his durability issues, Pat Riley calling him out, him allegedly wanting to go to the Brooklyn Nets to join up with Ben Simmons. If that's true, I'm concerned about Jimmy Butler right now, officially.
Yeah. I think he's doing stuff for contract stuff. Just trying to get that contract.
That's your negotiation chip. I want to go to the Nets. That's a bargaining chip.
Jimmy pulls something new every year at this point. It's always something.
Yeah, Jimmy will have a good season. He was 25-5 last year. I can see that similar production, but I can see Bam's production going up. That's what has me high on this duo. It's a lot. Like Jimmy's obviously no bum. Jimmy is Jimmy. But Bam, like his ascension and what I think he's gonna come and do this next year, he's like this duo is solely lying on Bam's back.
Yeah, he looked good in the Olympics too. So
and they work well together. They work well together too. So
all right. Well, we got Jimmy and Bam. They've been placed. Next up, MTL or Penn, you got the Orlando Magic. Should be a good one.
Okay, so Orlando Magic. I'm gonna put them below the Cleveland Cavaliers, but above the Charlotte Hornets.
Who? Okay.
Franz and Paolo. It's
Yeah.
fairly obvious who their
Yeah.
dynamic duo is. I really like the two-way potential of these guys. I feel like some people could probably edge themselves a little bit higher because Paolo, is ascending. He's a second-year player. Franz is a fourth-year player. There's actually, they're going year 3, year 4, respectively now. And Franz has really got the defense down. I think a lot of people really didn't watch a lot of Orlando Magic last year. Maybe they're just really honed in on the highlights of, Franz going 1 for 15, right? And they're like, oh my God, this guy's a bum. He can't shoot. Franz has been a pretty respectable shooter for most of his career.
Yeah.
He had a down year.
He had a down year last year. I think he shot 28%, but for the most part, there's not a complete non-shooter. Paolo's inefficiency is, it's concerning, but to have two guys that size, that young, it's a very promising thing for the Atlanta Magic. So I can't get them above some of these dynamic duos, which have proven all NBA type guys on them. I can't get either one of those players above Donovan Mitchell or Tyrese Halliburton right now, but they're right there. So yeah, I'm gonna put them there.
All right, one team that you forgot. So you said above the Hornets and below the Cavs. What about the Hawks?
Damn. Okay. That's tough.
Is it?
I gotta put them below the Hawks.
Below the Hawks. So that means they're below Trey and Jalen, but above Brandon Miller.
I think Jalen Johnson is super underrated, right? I do. And I also first of all, I think both Hawks are super underrated. I think Trey Young is underrated as hell. I think he had a really tough year last year. But at his peak, is he one of the best passers in the NBA? Is he one of the better scorers? We're putting defensive pieces around him. I think we were chill talking about what are the Hawks doing? They don't know what they're doing. I think they know exactly what they're doing. We're putting a whole bunch of defenders who move
I like
off
what they're
the ball.
doing.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. I think Landry Fields is a super smart guy, and he's putting the right pieces around these guys. And so, was Trey Young a little unhappy, having to share ball handling duties with DeJounte Murray? I have no idea. But if he was, problem's gone. And
regardless, they just didn't mesh like that. We've seen it happen before. Certain guys just don't go well together. And certain guys that you think might not go well together, they fit together. If Jalen Brunson or if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both had separate teams, and I was to tell you, if we put these guys on the same team, would they mesh? You would probably be like, no, because they both would need the ball, this, that, and the third. Put them together and it worked.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this duo list is about to.
I feel like Jalen is clearly the worst player in this group of 4 players, right?
Yeah.
Paolo, Franz, Jalen is clearly the worst. But I think he's better than people realize. But I still think I would take Paolo and Franz over him, clearly. Yeah. Trey Young, I would argue, is clearly the best player in this.
Yeah.
So it's 1 and 4 versus 2 and 3.
I just think
okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna put the Orlando Magic above. The reason I'm gonna put the Orlando Magic above, and I don't like that I'm doing this, is because their dynamic duo is younger and is likely to take a bigger step forward.
Yeah, and this is what this is predicated on going in the next season too. So it's not crazy to say that. I think it's legit to say that Paolo and Franz will have a better year than Trey and Jalen.
It's possible they don't. Jalen Johnson didn't have Jalen Johnson started strong. He didn't finish super great. There was a lot of stuff going along in Atlanta. They changed coaches, right? Full off season. If you tell me that Jalen Johnson and if you tell me Trey Young is second team All NBA and Jalen Johnson's first time All Star this year because the Hawks surprise and make the play-in, I would not be surprised at all.
See, that's the part I'd be surprised on.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Jalen being an All Star? It'd be tough. Well, in order for him to be an All Star, he would have to make it over both of these guys. Because I think Paulo's a shoe-in, I want to say. And then Franz, he got action too. If they're a top 3 seed,
that's a way hard.
The way I see All-Star is every year there's 40 All-Stars and we pick 24. Every year there's 40 guys you can make a legit case for, but one guy's hurt, one guy's on a super bad team. right? One guy's not favorable to the media. One guy plays the wrong position. There's already too many guys at his position. I'm just saying there's like usually about 38 to 40 all-stars. If Jalen Johnson is one of the 40, 45 best players in the league next year, I wouldn't be shocked. He's super young, super athletic. He's a great rebounder. Like I could see it. And he's an
nice with the
ascending
rock
shooter.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he nice with the rock. It's just last year was his first year really, getting the opportunity to be out there and showcase himself. I expect him to be a whole lot better this year because he's just going to be more comfortable. And on top of that, now that they know what he can bring to the table, now that they've seen him play, the guys are familiar with him, they're going to let him rock a little bit more.
Is he the clear number 2 option?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. But Ox in the chat talking about respect Bogey. Do respect Bogey. He's just not going to be the number 2 option on the team. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to shoot his shots, and that's that.
Wait. Which Bogey are we talking about? Bogdanovich?
Yeah.
The one that plays on the Hawks, right?
Yeah.
He's not coming off the bench. He's going to start.
You think so?
Yeah.
Over
he
who?
Could.
I believe he's going to be the starting shooting guard. And
what about Dyson Daniels?
I don't know what they're doing with Dyson Daniels.
I
don't know enough. I didn't keep up with Dyson enough to like make a fair assessment on him.
So they just traded DeJounte Murray for Dyson Daniels. You don't make that type of move without being high on a guy. And Dyson Daniels has proven that he could ball. He's proven he's incredible on defense. Offensively, he has some flaws he has to work around. But with that being said, Trae Young got enough offense for the both of them. So it's like, what's up?
What about the combination of watching Bogey in the Olympics? Did he not show you something?
I don't. Look, you don't got to convince Bogey. Don't got to convince me about anything. I know about Bogey. I remember when Bogey was in Sacramento when I was living in California. I used to I watch Bogey. I know what Bogey brings to the table. I just don't think he's going to start. He's been in a 6-man role damn near his whole career. I think they're going to keep him in that. I'm not saying that he can't start. I just think that they start Dyson. And I think from day one, they're probably going to start Ricochet. Yeah. But they potentially could bring him off the bench and rock with what's his name?
I'm trying to think of.
So if you start Trae Young at the 1, Dyson at the 2, you got Zachary Ricochet at the 3, Jalen Johnson at the 4, Clint Capella at the 5. That is a very long, very progressive defensive team.
Don't forget about DeAndre Hunter too. He could.
DeAndre Hunter is So you could put Hunter in place of Zachary Ricochet and then have Ricochet and Jalen Johnson kind of on different lines. But I like the idea of, and then off the bench you got Onyeka Okongwu. Like they're sneaky like this is a good defensive team now, despite having a pylon at the point guard. Like they know what they're doing. The reason I say that is like it's the same philosophy. I hate putting Trae Young and Allen Iverson in the same even sentence, but that is the same idea. You have a point guard, you have a smallish point guard, put some great defenders, role players who can do some stuff off the ball around them, and you got some athletes can run with them. Trae Young needs some players who can run with him. They need to play fast, put the ball in his hands.
Got some too. Dyson Daniels, he getting up and down that floor.
Dyson's a great athlete. Jalen's a great athlete. They got good athletes up and down the court, and then they got.
Ricochet slept on as an athlete too.
Yeah, he is. He's a good transition athlete.
Yeah, no, he's 6'10", run like a gazelle.
They would have done really well with Pascal. They would have been the ideal Pascal location. Yeah. I think they would have been great, but that trade fell apart in the preseason, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, it actually was for the better because now you got Jalen Johnson, who I think I think it's good similarities in between those two games.
Yeah,
so it's like you got a younger guy that now he gets to grow up with Trae, and you guys get to develop and mold him the way you want to.
Sure.
Not necessarily saying he's better than him, but I'm saying like you got a archetype. All right, y'all. The next team, and it's on me. We got the Toronto Raptors.
Oh boy.
So, I think this one's fairly easy. I do. Some people would say quickly. Oh shit! I forgot about Scottie Barnes. Never mind. This might not be easy.
You forgot about Scottie Barnes and you said it was easy.
Oh, right. It's supposed to be Scottie and
Scottie or RJ. That's who I got. That was
Can I
easy, right?
protest? Can I protest? Can I start? Can I start a GoFundMe for your basketball IQ right now? What are we doing here? RJ Barrett's better than Emmanuel Quickly, for real?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you care about
really
defense?
like Quickly.
I like what RJ did last year. It's not that far off. I get it, but as far as like who's gonna have, you know what? I'm not even that mad at that. That's fine. You forgetting Scottie Barnes is offensive, but
hold on though. You really believe that Quickly has the opportunity to be their second best player?
He is their second best player. He is by far their second best player. Right now, he is the second best player. Yes. If you're telling me, okay, look, the RJ Quickly thing, it just goes like this. RJ Barrett in New York had a couple issues. Number one, the defense. Number two, the efficiency. Number three, consistency. Number four, inconsistent long ball. He's hitting the long ball right now with Toronto, and he was doing pretty good with Team Canada. So I can assume that maybe has been solved. Toronto plays faster than New York was playing, right? They're not going half court grind, and asking him, and it kind of leans into RJ's favor to be more of a transition athlete because he's a great transition player. RJ Barrett is super underrated as a transition player. So I think the Raptors system is leaning more into RJ being that type of guy. But what Quickly does with the deep ball and as an ascending passer, that has been, like, to me, that's what the value. The Raptors just paid him $32.5 million for 5 years. Yeah. 32.5 every year. That's not chump change. That's a lot of money. And RJ Barrett, like, just we're talking 8 months ago, was considered a toxic asset at 27 million. So then what the hell is, I think it's close, but I think if you're talking about dynamic duos, you're talking about the synergy with Scottie Barnes. I think it's going to be Quickly. But I could see a sub all-star type of year for RJ. RJ was going crazy. Like, he was putting up like 22 points. The defensive gap between these two players is legit. And with Quickly, the two weaknesses with New York was how good of a floor general is he? Like, is he a lead guard or is he an off guard? They're developing him to be more of a lead guard, and he's putting in crazy work with that. And the second thing was, what's your volume of 3-point attempts? And they got that up with the Raptors, right? They're encouraging him to take 10 threes a game, and he's a dominant shooter. So if Emmanuel Quickly starts launching 10 threes a game, and he continues to hit at a 40% clip, and he's an ascending passer, and he's already the much better defender between the two, it's an easy W for Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, I can see Quickly being the second best player. RJ, he gonna have a full season. I don't. That was tough. It really is tough. I got RJ. He's bigger, got the better physical profile. I think once he gets a little more freedom, like how he had at the end of the season, and he could be himself. I think he just does a little bit more. And then on top of that too, this is kind of just riding off last season, so the end of last season, and then this summer as well. But he bought out for Team Canada.
Yeah,
he did.
And so, like,
he did, no cap.
I believe, and on top of that too, RJ's still young. I mean, they're both young, obviously, but RJ's still young. We tend to judge guys off their first 3-4 seasons in the league, not knowing that these guys are still getting better. Like, you don't peak at 23. So I think RJ still has a lot of untapped potential. Will he fulfill it? Who knows? Especially like coming into the league, like, we were saying he's going to be up here, but we seen him get better last year. I think that will continue, him getting away from New York, him going to a new situation, him being at home. Like, I think that goes a long way for RJ. I think he continues to build on what he did last year, and we'll probably see a very good year out of RJ Barrett this year.
If he can continue to ascend as a playmaker and he can just become halfway competent defensively, no complaints.
How bad is he defensively?
Really, really bad. Point of attack defense, team defense, rim defense. There's literally nothing that I can say he's good at defensively. There's not one thing. I can't say he's disruptive in the passing lanes. I can't say he's all that positionally versatile. Like, he can maybe guard 2 positions. It's not like he's Scottie Barnes where he can guard 4 or 5 positions, or Precious Achiuwa where he can guard 4 or 5 positions. There's not a lot. He's a pretty decent rebounder for his position. He's a small forward, but is he big for his position? Not really. And you said Emmanuel quickly, has the worst physical profile. IQ got like a 6'8" wingspan and a 6'2", 6'3" frame. That's a great profile for a point guard. He's big for a point guard. If you think about it. I mean, he's not 6'5", but he's big for a guard. Like he's not routinely getting hunted, right? But if RJ's playing the 3, is he big for a 3? Not really. He's strong. He's built strong. He's a good transition athlete. He's a good north-south athlete. You play ball, Ron, He's a good north-south athlete. He's not the greatest east-west athlete. I really liked his playmaking last year. Like it really grew on me. There was a couple passes he threw. I'm like, no way did he see that. So if that can grow, if the basketball IQ can grow and the defense can become competent and the 3-point shot remains, but there's so many ifs. I don't have as many ifs with Emmanuel Quickly. Emmanuel Quickly just has to be who he is and just increase the volume and attempts. Because sometimes you be playing behind a guy like Jalen Brunson and you're kind of overshadowed, right? Like you're doing a lot of the same stuff. When they put the ball in your hands, we've seen this. We saw this with Halliburton and Fox, right? So what if, and I'm not saying they're the same, but what if Emmanuel Quickly's story in Toronto is a little bit like Tyrese Halliburton's story in Indiana, where put the ball in his hands, he takes the reins, his mind starts to get inspired, and suddenly all those athletic gifts, that long ball, a growing passing ability, it just like who was talking about Tyrese Halliburton as a generational passer in Sacramento? I wasn't.
Not as generational, but he was very good over there. Very good.
And Emmanuel Quickly was closing lineups for the Knicks.
He was.
So I'm just saying, like I think IQ is hella slept on. And I while I get why you would put RJ up there because he's the bigger name, he was the more hyped prospect, he was the higher pick. I think IQ long term, I trust the work. I always trust the work, and the work ethic on this kid is next level, insane.
I'm gonna be looking out for Quickly. Quickly's gonna be one of the players that I really follow this year. I want to see really what he does, and I want to see if he can blossom and really become one of those premier point guards in the NBA.
Facts.
Right.
And I mean, he got the ball in his hands this year, so it's like, and this is when you can really determine, like, okay, how much action does this guy really have? You got the ball in your hand, it's your team, and on top of that, you guys aren't the best team. So now you really get to individually be as great as you can be.
For sure.
Like obviously with the Knicks, it was like you're playing a role. You're backing up Brunson. Sometimes you're playing alongside him. You got Julius Randle out here. You got all these other guys. Tom Thibodeau, he's a system guy. So you're not, even though Tom Thibodeau did let him off the leash a lot more than I expected. But like obviously, like with the Knicks, you were a role player. On this team, it's like quickly go.
Right. I was just giving them rings.
Where are you putting them though? This I'm curious about because if you forgot about Scottie Barnes, you certainly don't think of him the way I think about him.
Oh no! I like Scottie. When I thought of the Raptors, for some reason I was thinking about last year. So I'm like, I'm starting with Pascal, and then I'm like, who's gonna be my second guy? Forgetting that what it slipped my mind is that Pascal wasn't there anymore. But where I'm putting him at, let me see. Yeah, they're gonna. So right now, what I'm trying to, so I'm not putting him above Trey and Jalen. So right now, it's between what's really the parameter right now for them is the Hornets. And I'm like, are they better than LaMelo and Brandon Miller? Or nah? And I'm gonna say yes, only because Brandon Miller's a second-year player, and I don't know what I'm gonna get.
Okay, Scottie Barnes is a really good player. Okay,
he is, but so is LaMelo Ball.
He's better than LaMelo Ball. He is a clearly better player than LaMelo Ball. He guards both. He plays both sides of the basketball. Number one. Whoa. Scottie is a much better player than LaMelo Ball. I can't believe we're even having these conversations.
I think y'all forgot about who LaMelo is.
No, I remember exactly who LaMelo Ball is. But I think it matters that a guy plays 5 freaking positions offensively and defensively. And I think it matters that he's one of the best closers in the NBA. One of the highest efficiency closers. Have you seen what Scottie Barnes did to Giannis Antetokounmpo in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, Scottie's defensively
seen him snarling
stuff.
I'm not talking about defensively. Defensively, he shut down Nikola Jokic in the fourth quarter. How many guards do you know that can shut down Nikola Jokic one-on-one in the post? Shut him down. This is like positional versatility. To me, honestly, this conversation needs to be had. It matters that I can have a guy that you can't pick on. There's nothing you can do on the court to put Scottie on a player that he can't guard. He can guard pretty much every single player. Some players better than others. He can guard Tatum better than he can guard De'Aaron Fox. Do you know? Okay, here's a fun fact for the chat that's losing their mind on this 82 game lineup that we got up here. Okay, let me just say this: the worst single game in Steph Curry's life was last year. Scottie Barnes guarded him the whole damn game. It was analytically his worst game ever. Go watch it. Go study it. I watched the film. I could not believe what I was watching. Steph's one of the 10 greatest players of all time. Scottie is super underrated. I'm not even talking about the offensive ascension. Last year, I interviewed his trainer, Brian Macon, and he had him on, and he basically was training to be a second option to Pascal. So all his training was pull-up shooting. Sorry, all of his training was catch and shoot stuff because he was supposed to be playing off of a primary creator. This offseason, all of his training has been pull-up primary stuff because he's the guy now. Y'all watch. Scottie Barnes started out the season as top 10 in box plus minus in the NBA. He was right up there with KD, right up there with Tyrese Halliburton, right up there with Jokic and Embiid and those guys. He fell off the second half of the season because the Raptors were tanking, and then he missed the last 22 games. But he was an all-star. He was an all-star, and his team was ass.
That did happen.
How many all-stars can you think of where their team was so ass, right? I'm just saying, I think he's by far the best player. And if that is not in your equation, then no wonder you're debating about him and Charlotte. I'll tell you this. I think RJ is the worst player in that group of 4 players. RJ is definitively worse than Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball.
Definitively?
Yes. Definitively, yes. Like, I like RJ, but Brandon Miller going forward could be like 7-time all-star.
He could be.
LaMelo is an all-star talent. RJ is we'll see. So yes, I think RJ is the worst player in that group, but Scottie is leaps and bounds the best player in that group until we see something very different from Brandon Miller.
All right, MTL, it's back on you. You have the Brooklyn Nets. Good luck.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Dang, I'm about to pull up their roster. Who's left on the team? Everybody's getting traded.
They got
Ben Simmons. They got Ben Simmons.
Oh, Nick Claxton.
I'm just playing. It's Nick Claxton and dang, what's their guard's name?
Cam Thomas.
And Cam Thomas. It's those two. But the problem is I don't know if they're going with them in the future. I've heard a lot of rumors about Claxton might be traded too. But I don't know. If they keep them, I'm saying it's them too. And then I'm going to oh man, that team is rough. I remember y'all had a guy that came up here. I know y'all had I forgot whoever the Nets guy that y'all had that was up here. You know, the Nets was his team. I remember he was saying that they was gonna be better than us last year. I ain't forget.
Who Breezy? Leaf Diggy?
Yeah, was it him? He's the Nets guy. Like he was talking about how good the Nets was gonna be, and they were gonna be a playoff team. Yeah, I remember that. He said they were better than us. Where are they now? Where are they now? I didn't forget. I watched the panel. I'll be in tune. I'll be waiting for somebody to hate on the Magic. I ain't gonna lie. But no, on a serious note, their team is gonna be in a space where it's like they're rebuilding. So it's gonna be hard to tell like where they're trying to be. So I'm gonna just go off of like talent. I like Claxton. Cam Thomas, he's a very good offensive player. I think that combination is good enough to put them.
Here's the list right here.
I ain't gonna lie. Do I got them better than the Wizards? No, off of my take of how I feel about Jordan Poole, I got them right above the Wizards. That's why I'm looking.
Hang on though. Cam Johnson is definitely a better player than the two guys you're discussing. I think Cam Johnson's super underrated. Cam Johnson's good. Cam Johnson's a good player. He was a starter on a finals team.
Yeah, well, that's my thing with Cam Johnson. I feel like Cam Johnson fooled me. And obviously it's different levels and you play different in different scenarios. I thought Cam Johnson, because he was very good for that Suns team at playing his role. He would knock down big shots. It was even times where he would get hot and go on one. A little bit of self-creation. He played good defense. So from what I've seen, and it's like, bro, you're a young player too. I'm like, okay, cool. You got traded to Brooklyn, right? I'm expecting him to go to Brooklyn and take it 2 notches up. I'm damn near expecting him to go to Brooklyn and be their second option next to Mikal Bridges. And we just never quite got that. And so I'm like, are you a really good role player? Are you a product of a system? Do you need Devin Booker and Chris Paul around you to be good? What is it? So I'm just
he's like Michael Porter Jr. He's like Michael Porter Jr. He's relying on other people to create space for him. But unlike Michael Porter Jr., he's a hella versatile defender. He's a really good defender, right? And he's like, I don't know, man. I think again, throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? The Nets are trash. No one's watching them. You assume that the guy on their team who's maybe averaging 11 points is probably super trash, right? You don't realize that sometimes you have some diamonds in the rough. You have some really, really good guys. Like if you tell me if Cam Johnson gets traded and he's starting on an NBA Finals team next year, I'm not surprised at all. He's a perfect starter.
Yeah, I can see Cam.
If he was starting in place, okay, a healthy Cam Johnson. If he was starting in place of Aaron Gordon on the Nuggets, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be like, damn, that's great. Good spacing, good movement shooter. Movement shooting is underrated. Everything Cam Johnson does is underrated. Movement shooting versus stationary shooting. He's a movement shooter and a 6'10" one at a 6'9" one at that. Versatile defender, right? Smart passer, really smart passer, really smart playmaker. Hard to be a good playmaker on a team that's ass. Hard to be a good playmaker with teammates that are not cutting. He's just a really good player on a really bad team.
Yeah,
you know,
I can see
and he's
that.
not ball dominant enough to go out and be like, I'm gonna get 25. That's not his game. But there's a lot of players like that. Like Bam Adebayo was like that. You know, where like he's not. You can't just put Bam on a trash team and expect him to score 40. That's not his game. Jaren Jackson's like that too. There's a lot of these guys. They're not primary initiator types, but in the right system, they're very valuable. Cam is that.
Yeah, but Penn, that brings me to my point though. So it's like, be that as it may, yes, he's in a terrible situation and he's not able to completely fulfill his potential. But does that mean that he's better than Cam Thomas? And
yes, he is better than Cam Thomas, and
he's not going to produce more, and he's not their 1 or 2 option on this team.
The only debate really at this point is his health, and he has not been healthy for a while. So that's where I dock points off of him. So Cam Thomas is very inefficient. You know what's a dime a dozen?
But he's their number
basketball?
1 option, though.
Probably,
undoubtedly, efficient or not, when they need a bucket, he's shooting the ball. When they don't need a bucket, he's shooting the ball. He's touching the ball every single possession. The offense
that's fine. That's his game. That's literally what he does. Back in the day, Jerry Stackhouse, 30 points a game. Did anyone ever think he was better than Grant Hill? Did anyone think he was better than Vince Carter? Did anyone think he was better than those guys? You could put up empty calories all you want. You could put up inefficient scoring numbers with high turnovers, low efficiency, poor shot quality, not generate good looks for your teammates. And I'll just say, you're a guy. You're dime a dozen, man. If you tell me, like a guy like Bones Highland, right? Never met a shot he didn't like, right? Loves shooting the basketball. You put Bones Highland on the Charlotte Hornets right now and say, Bones, go do your shit. LaMelo's out for the season. Go take as many shots as you want. Bones Highland will average 25 points per game. It won't be efficient. It won't be pretty. Won't make anyone else better, but he'll put up your 25. This is not a skill set. Generating great looks is a skill set. Generating great looks at above league average efficiency and making good looks for your teammates while not being a cone on defense. This is the real skill set. Averaging 25 means nothing to me. If what you're doing is taking shitty shots and, you know, not hitting them at high clip, like I don't value inefficient scoring with no defense. I just don't value that. So I like Cam. I would put Cam Johnson on a NBA Finals team as a starter before I put Cam Thomas on an NBA Finals team as a starter.
And you know what's funny, Penn? I agree with you on that. I would do the same thing. But in a situation of like how their team is set up, I feel like Cam Thomas, you have to go with him. Even though I understand every point you're making about Cam Johnson, I would like if you were asking me for my team right now, I would rather have Cam Johnson than Thomas. Just because Cam Thomas is, I'm gonna be honest, he's a shot choker. He's definitely a shot choker. I've watched Nets games where literally he gets the ball, there passing really don't come across his mind that much. Like he is really just a straight get to it scorer type of guy. But
But he get to it though. Like
he
y'all
does. He
act like he
does
don't
though.
get to
I
it.
can't
And
lie.
really, he's a microwave. Like once he sees a few go in, he's shooting for 40.
How many guys in the G League like that, Ron? How many guys in the G League that have that exact same mentality, don't know how to play off of nobody? Like that's what I liked. What the other day we were talking about Tyrese Maxey, and it was like his ability to play off of players is so important, right? What he does away from the basketball to help his team is good. How you space, how you cut, how you defend, all these things elevate your team performance. It's not a secret. You know, a lot of really bad teams have a lot of really bad players. This is not a secret, right? But those players are not bad because they look bad or because they don't have skill. It's because they don't do enough of the stuff that contributes to winning. And defense contributes to winning. And rebounding contributes to winning. And communication contributes to winning. And good secondary playmaking and primary initiation leads to winning. And generating good looks and for yourself and for your team and putting pressure on the rim, getting to the line. These things generate winning, right? Taking shots in and of itself is not a skill set. I'm tired of people acting like it is. Every single player in the league can chuck up 26 mid-range shots a game. Every one of them. And could probably hit 12. Is that making you better? No.
All right. Well, MTL has the Brooklyn Nets. He chose Cam and Claxton, Cam Thomas, and they are the second worst team on this list, right behind the Wizards. Let me actually put the list up here. Before I do that, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Y'all make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you become a member. And with that being said, let me go ahead and shout out our good old Hall of Famers over here at Players Choice. We got GDH, DG, Kendall Daniels, Hutton Gilgores, Jerry Allity, Arch, Multi Kenny, and Cobra Son of Raditz. I don't really got to say too much about y'all. Y'all know y'all the GOATs, but just in case y'all forgot, y'all the GOATs. All right, here goes the list right here. This is what we're looking at. We got Giannis and Dame at the top. Then Jimmy and Bam. Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Franz and Paolo. Trae Young, Jalen Johnson. Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett. LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller. Zach LaVine. Josh Kiddey. Cade Cunningham. Jalen Duren. Cam and Claxton. And last and definitely least, we got Kuz and Jordan Poole. All right, that's what we're looking at right now. The next team, I believe it's on you, Penn. It is on you. And you got a good one. Philadelphia 76ers.
Easy. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, move them right to the top. Right to the top. 100% right to the top.
Hold on, no. Don't just say it like it's that easy. I agree with you, but it's
Damian
not
Giannis?
that. No. I mean that too, but
who's at the top right now?
No. It's Damian Giannis.
Okay,
That's
to the top.
That's not even what I was contesting, but I can make an argument in a debate about that too. But I'll get to that. I'm talking about just saying like Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Like Joel's clear cut. Don't make it seem like Tyrese is just stars and light years above Paul George.
Okay. I mean, if you want to play that game, I'm going on age. I'm going on the pecking order within the franchise. I'm going on skill set too. I mean, funny enough, Paul George could be your primary easily. He has the skill set, right? He can generate some great looks for himself. He's a competent passer. He's a really decent defender. Even at this stage of his career, he's a decent defender. I got no hate against PG. None. Never, ever had it. Loved him in Indiana. Loved him, with the LA Clippers. I'm not one of those people who's always trolling him for his playoff, failures and his off-court stuff. So I like him. I just think Tyrese Maxey's better. I think he's just really dynamic. I think the deep range shooting, I think there's stamina that comes with being young. And I think, when people show you who they are, believe them. It's a great quote. Live your life by it.
No, for real.
Tyrese
dropping gems today.
Tyrese Maxey has gotten better every single year like clockwork.
Mhm. Yeah.
Every single year. This dude is a menace when it comes to work. He just works. And you know what? I trust players that work. I trust players that put in the time in the gym and the sweat equity and do go about it the right way, right? I watch way too many young players that come into the league, become complacent, sign the first contract, kind of fall off, get into the wrong crowd. So I've learned to just trust the players who have that sort of vision for, I want to be one of the best players. And Tyrese Maxey literally had that day one. Day one, he had that. And he's just grinding. Not everyone starts at the same place, but all the greats end up relatively close, right?
Yeah.
So, some guys come out like gangbusters, like Wilt and Hakeem. Now, Wilt, Hakeem, Kareem, these guys, Shaq, these guys came out, boom, day one, all-star. Some guys, they work up to it. Like a Kawhi Leonard. He worked
a lot
up
of guys
to it.
have to.
Paul George worked up to it, right? Exactly. So you can't, Giannis, Jokic came over, what? Backup, right? He wasn't starter on day one. Imagine that. Best player in the league today was a backup. But you trust the work. You trust the talent, you trust the work. Tyrese Maxey hits all my boxes. So he's definitively the second best player. And, if he's not today...
Pin, that I got Maxey. It's just not definitive, though. I think everybody's sleeping on Paul George coming into the Sixers situation. I don't think we're giving Paul George enough respect, and I don't think we're giving the Sixers enough respect altogether as a team. I'm tired of people saying that the Sixers aren't a legit championship contender. I think
PG, Indiana PG, even OKC PG, better than Tyrese Maxey. Definitively, I'll say definitively again. He was a top 3 MVP candidate in Indiana. I think he was pushing top 5 player in the league conversations, right? Legit. Paul George was super slept on, always kind of played in small markets.
Yeah.
Now he finally plays in a big market like LA, and he's playing with the Lakers' ugly stepchild. So it's never really been celebrated properly. He never got like that mellow welcome where Carmelo was in New York or whatever, or, LeBron was in Miami, or Lakers. So I feel like PG has been sort of slept on his whole career. So I appreciate you sticking up for him in this case. But the way Tyrese Maxey pressures the rim, the way he can really collapse the defense, like Tyrese Maxey is just basically a game of pressure, constant pressure, transition, pressure, half court, pressure, coming off a screen, pressure, getting downhill, pressure, popping up 28 feet behind the line, pressure. He's just a defensive anxiety attack. For a head coach, you see this guy, you see his numbers, you see his efficiency in the floater range, getting to the rim, how quickly he bursts. As long as that burst stays with him, the athleticism, the shooting, all of that stuff, and he's ascending as a passer, I think he's better. And I think he just
all
he
ball too a problem. That Tyrese Maxey shoot the hell out the ball.
Facts. And too many people, they look at a percentage and they see a guy, like a Fred VanVleet, who's probably going to come up at some point in this conversation. They see a guy maybe shooting 36, 37% from 3, but they don't consider how he's getting those threes. They don't consider the quality of the threes. They don't consider the range of the threes. They don't consider the volume. They don't consider all that. They just see. But there's a big difference between being PJ Tucker standing in the corner and hitting 35, 37%. And being a movement shooter who's self-generating those 3-pointers like a Damian Lillard. Very different. So I rank quality of 3-point shots as well. And Tyrese Maxey takes some of the higher quality 3-point shots I've seen in my life. So he's a really good player.
Yeah. And let's also not forget, because I know I like PG more than everybody on this panel. That's him and Russell are my 2 favorite players. And I have to be honest. Yes, man. Shout out Russ. But I have to be honest. We'll see. But I just have to say with PG, he's at a point in his career where I think we gotta not put a crazy expectation on top of his head, because I really hate seeing him get slandered year after year for literally stuff that's not his fault. He's come into a situation to be a third option. He's coming in to be a guy who can score. You know, he's a very good 3-point shooter. He's a shot creator at times.
Hey, what's going on, Jordan?
What's going on, bro?
What's up? What's up? Ron, we got the time mixed up.
Oh,
Did we?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. Got my times mixed up, Ron.
It's all good. You here now?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
But go ahead, MTL. What was you saying?
but yeah, I don't want to set PG up to get slandered this season if he's having a decline. I think at some point in time, we got to understand players are getting older, and I know that we keep seeing stuff LeBron and Curry and KD's been doing, but realistically, these players are all in that age range where you should start seeing them start coming down off of that high horse. So, and I've already seen it with PG to an extent. I still think he's a great player, but I don't know if he has second best player on the Sixers talent. That means I have to say like how good I have to feel like he's about to play this year is very high because I already think Maxi's is very high. So I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like y'all hoeing PG a little bit. For lack of better terms, I feel like you guys are hoeing Paul George. Paul George still got it. The only question for Paul George is whether he's going to be healthy or not. That's the only question. But at the same time, he's not the only one in the Sixers who holds that. So if we're going to hold Paul George accountable with health, let's hold Joel Embiid accountable for health too.
That's fair.
Like if Paul George plays, I don't think if I was to tell you guys that Paul George at the end of the year would be the second best option for him, or end of the season as their second option, I don't think that would surprise anybody.
Yeah, it would surprise me. How is he better than Tyrese Maxey? Help me understand this. What is he pressuring the rim better than Tyrese Maxey?
No,
maybe not.
Is he a more voluminous scorer than Tyrese Maxey at this stage in his career? I'm not talking 18, 19 PG. Like I see sometimes the craziest thing with the NBA, bro, is that the player who has fallen and the player who has risen look the exact same. Exact same. You squint a little bit, you see Tracy McGrady on the bench for the Detroit Pistons, you're like, wasn't that guy just putting up 30 points per game like 12 seconds ago? It just changed. PG's absolute apex peak was probably 18, 19. Recovering from that terrible injury that he had. He was very good at 23, 24 with the Indiana Pacers. But dude, it's 30. He's 33. 33 now.
33 is not old though. Like, it's not.
It's not that old, but you're not comparing him to Tobias Harris. You're comparing him against Tyrese Maxey, bro. He's not giving Tyrese Maxey his flowers. He's a top 25 player in the NBA.
Tyrese Maxey is a dog. Tyrese Maxey's dope. Tyrese Maxey went crazy all last year and in the playoffs. Well, like I know who Tyrese Maxey is, but I'm not going to discredit Paul George just because I know who Tyrese Maxey is, because I know who Paul George is too. When Paul George steps on the floor, he got potential to go for 30 on any given night. Now I know Maxey average 30.
Maxey can't.
I know that. I know.
No, Maxey only averaged about 25, but the difference
is
average
30 though.
Yeah, but the difference is Tyrese Maxey shoots a lot. He shoots a lot, and his volume is about 25 points a game. Paul George probably shoot like 4 shots less than him, and he averaged close to 23 points a game. So it's like, but I mean, it's pretty similar. I mean, it's not wrong to say Paul George is better than Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is younger. Obviously, if you were going to go, who would you start your franchise with? Maybe you would go with Tyrese Maxey because he's younger. But Paul George can still get you 25 a game if he's taking 20 shots a game. Now, if you put him in a situation where you're only going to make him take 12, 15, then you might be looking at a good 19, 20 points, you know. But I don't think it's wrong to say that Paul George is better than Tyrese Maxey right now.
And once again, I still got Maxey. I
like Maxey. Maxey's a good player.
I'm just saying, let's just not sweep Paul George under the rug like he's not over there. And on top of that, too, Paul George is going to take a little bit of Maxey's shots. So Maxey's not going to shoot as much as he did last year. He's not going to score as much as he did last year. He's not going to have the ball in his hands as much.
He might not take some of his shots, though, to be honest with you. He might not. Nick Nurse plays in kind of like that type of system, like a free-flowing system. But I don't know if he would take so much more of his shots.
Does he take some of Joel's shots?
if we freeze these guys, if we freeze them right now, and Father Time does not continue to wear down, the question is like, who are you taking going forward, right? Run the season next season. So the only argument that I could see for this is there is a massive gap defensively. Maxi's not a great defender. He's small.
No.
He's not very committed. He dies on screens. He's just not a good defender. And so he's a defensive liability. And he is not quite on the level of Cone that Damian Lillard was last year or Trae Young and those guys, but he's not that much better. Paul George is still a very competent team defender, still decent point of attack. He's always going to be bigger than Maxey. He's always going to have that advantage where he's going to be able to guard more positions. So I could see the argument for it. You sold me on it. Like I can see the argument that he's a more valuable player. I cannot see an argument for he's higher in the pecking order of their offense, though. That's different.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think PG comes in as a complimentary player to Maxey and Embiid just to get them over the hump. I don't think he comes over there to change the dynamic, but I think he just, adds complement to what they already have. And maybe he's the closer for them that they need as well, too. He might not get as many shots during the game, but later on in the stretch, they might go to PG to close the game more than they would Maxey. Maybe Maxey's just not that good of a closer like PG. It's not saying that he's not, but I'm saying, why wouldn't you want a complimentary player like PG to come close the game for you?
Yeah, and I think Paul George fits in there perfectly next to those two. Because
I do too. It's just about him.
Yeah, and aside from all of that, I do think Maxey's still going to have the ball in his hands, probably more than PG. And on top of that, like Paul George is one of the better guys that you would want to space the floor. And if I got to swing the ball to you and it's 4 seconds on the clock, 5 seconds on the clock, Paul George he's that perfect guy. Either catch and shoot, or I know Paul George in 3 or 4 dribbles can get me something.
Yeah, because what if you put the ball in PG's hands and Maxey can be a catch and shooter? Because Maxey can shoot the ball too. And I think that's why I say like he's gonna be used as that type of role. Like, because Tyrese Maxey with the ball late in his hand, I mean, you're not as confident as Tyrese Maxey got the ball late in his hand. Like, if it's two, you down 2 and then maybe 30 seconds left, you're not as confident as you would be if PG had the ball rather than Maxey. But I feel like if Maxey's off the ball and PG can create and kick to Maxey, then I think that's where he fits in at.
Like what Harden did?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, pretty much. Like, it just takes – Maxey's a good player, but I don't know if he's a franchise player to where he's beating the air out the ball. And, you want to see that every night. It could be an eyesore, especially with his size. It could just be an eyesore. But not saying I don't like this game.
I'll be curious to see that. That was a big criticism going into last year. Is like, how are they going to make up for the shortfall of James Harden sitting out and all that stuff? And I think Tyrese did great. I think the Sixers looked really good early on in the season.
For sure.
But
they look good late in the season too.
They just had some unfortunate injuries, and the injuries are always going to be a concern with Joel Embiid. It's always going to be a concern, right? So I guess the question philosophically here is, what's the edge? If we're debating Sixers versus Bucks dynamic duos, really the edge here is how big a gap do you think there is between Joel Embiid and Giannis, if there is one at all? And yeah, that's where I'm a little bit torn, man, because I think the offensive creation and half court creation of a Joel Embiid versus sort of the transition pressure that a Giannis puts, I don't know. And one of these guys won a championship, and the other one hasn't made a conference finals.
Right.
Does that matter to me?
I would go with Giannis.
So that's really philosophically the thing. I'm a generational hater of Joel Embiid. Generational hater. Can't stand his antics. Can't stand the off-court stuff. So maybe I'm overcorrecting and overcompensating by showing him so much love lately. So I'll take it back. I'll put him below the Bucks, but I'm not happy about it. Yeah, I'll put him below the Bucks, but I'm not happy about it.
All right, so this is what we're looking at right now, Jordan. This is to bring you up to date and hear your thoughts and comments.
Nah, keep them above. Keep them above. I can't. I just keep them above. Shit.
Are we doing 10 or what?
No, we're doing every team.
Oh, every team. Okay.
Yeah. So you got in here at the perfect time. We still got the whole Western Conference to do. But at the top, we have Embiid and Maxey. Then you see the Bucks next with Giannis and Dame. Then you got Jimmy and Bam, Halliburton and Pascal, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Franz and Paolo, Trae and Jalen, Scottie Barnes and RJ.
Trae and Jalen is crazy.
What, they too high?
I would take Barnes and RJ Ball and Miller over that.
Me too. Well, I don't know. I don't know about Ball and Miller, but I would.
I don't know if Jalen is going to be a true number 2, like a duo. Maybe DeAndre Hunter steps in too, but DeAndre Hunter could been been a little disappointing. But
He's been declining.
Yeah, but
I think it's really talking about how good Trae Young is, to be honest, because I think Trae Young in this group of players, if you're really looking at this, the really, really bad teams, the 2 names here that stick out as guys who could actually make an All-NBA team, Scottie Barnes and Trae Young. Maybe you could sell yourself on Paolo, maybe, right? Like maybe being a 3rd-team All-NBA if the Pistons, if a lot of people get injured, miss the qualifications, Orlando has a 50-win season or something like that, I could see Paolo making 3rd-team All-NBA. But I don't see a chance in hell that any of the, the bottom 4 make an All-NBA. Now, are you high enough on Brandon Miller, Jordan, that he can make an All-NBA team next season?
No.
LaMelo Ball?
LaMelo, he has a chance. I'm not sold on it, but I can see him if he stays healthy. He's always hurt, but 3rd team, he can definitely go 20. LaMelo can definitely go 22, a good 7.5, and another 7.5 to But I don't know if they win a lot. Their team is just bad.
And does he defend?
He gets steals, but he doesn't defend. He definitely gets steals, but he don't defend. He's like pass the lane type of guy. But as far as one-on-one clamps, he's not. I'm not sold on that. Yeah, he's gonna give effort, but it's kind of weak on that.
He can rebound. That's one.
He definitely can rebound. That's what I'm saying. And he definitely
at the guard position. If you're a poor point of attack guy, you're poor recovery guy at the rim. The least you can do is contribute on the glass and put a little bit less pressure. So I think that's one positive that LaMelo does. Yeah, but I also I think I have trouble with Scottie behind Trae Young. I think Scottie's just really good.
Scottie's gonna be really good.
Pin real quick. I'm sorry. Pin real quick. Who's better? Scottie Barnes or Paolo?
Scottie.
I
think he's better. I understand a lot of people who say Paolo is better, and that debate has been going on all damn offseason. I do not understand it personally. Paolo is a very good player, but there are gaps that Scottie has over him as a defender, as a passer.
I can't give you that. Not as a passer.
What?
No. Are we debating a Raptors fan and a Magic fan?
Yeah.
No, I can't give you passing.
I step to the side.
I know I haven't watched enough Raptors games, but I know you haven't watched enough Magic games to try to debate.
I have watched a ton of Paolo Banchero at Duke. I watched him, bro. He's not a great passer. Too. He's a good passer for his size. That's what I'll give you. Okay, he's not generational at his position. Scottie has a chance to be generational as a passer. Like what he does, like his own head coach. Let me give you the spark notes on this. Do we agree that Leonard Hamilton is a good coach? Florida State University, really good man. We agree that Leonard Hamilton knows some ball.
Yeah. Okay.
Leonard Hamilton compared Scottie Barnes at age 19 to Magic Johnson meets Scottie Pippen. Word for word, that was his comparison, right? His current coach, Darko Rajakovic, who is a Serbian, right? Comes from my hometown, Čačak, who has known Nikola Jokic since he was 16 years old, took this job and compared him to Nikola Jokic. He said he's basically Nikola Jokic. He reminds me of Jokic. He's selfless, whatever. Okay. The levels to passing here are insane. Scottie has not been a primary guy like Paolo has. He's been behind Pascal. He's been behind a lot of guys. But last year, the first 25 games, and again, it's a small sample size, 25 games. Let's not talk about Scottie like he's a bum. He won Rookie of the Year, right? Mm-hmm. For a reason. He won it over Cade. He won it over Mobley. He won it over, a lot of guys who were pretty good. Josh Giddey, Franz, all these guys. Paolo is the least efficient, like one of the least efficient first options that I can think of. He does some good things. He's a great passer at his size and gets to the rim. He's a pretty good rebounder. What else?
Okay.
What else? What does he do? What's so great about him?
Very good scorer.
He's a very good
How is he a very good scorer?
He's a very good
hold on. Scorer. If your team is 7 points worse with you on the court than off, and you are considerably below league average in terms of efficiency scoring from the scoring round, find me a great scorer who's below league average in efficiency.
Pin. I know the numbers are the numbers, but based on the eye test and watching Paolo play, Paolo is a good scorer. He has all the tools for a 6'10" guy that you would want on the offensive end.
When we talk eye test, we talk smooth fluidity of movement. That's why y'all think Cade is so great. But most of the people that I know that would like really cover the NBA, you ask them, you want to build a franchise around Cade Cunningham? They say, nope, fast, right? It matters that you can efficiently score around the rim, man. It matters that teams really collapse on you. It matters how quickly you make reads out of those situations. Paolo is a good passer for his size. He's not Chris Webber. Like, y'all talking about him like he's going to be Chris Webber as a passer. He's not that, okay? He's not leading to efficient offense for his team. He is competently carrying an offensive load on a team that is offensively challenged, and therefore the ball is finding him a lot. He's a first overall pick. But until I see him finishing around the rim at a league above average level, because if you're a superstar, you're taking all the shots. I'm assuming it's because you're damn good offensively, right?
But that's the thing though. It's not because of that. Like, you actually watch Magic games, one of the biggest things that stands out on our team is the lack of shooting at times. It gets really rough. And when you watch Paolo, I'm watching people double and triple him at times. But he's going to the rim. People keep telling him, oh, Paolo, go to the rim. Paolo, go to the rim. You know what happened when he goes to the rim? 2-3 people be there trying to tackle him every time he tries to go to the rim. He'll give it to somebody who, we'll say Gary Harris. I don't know what happened to Gary Harris shooting last year. He'd give it to Gary Harris, clank. He'd give it to Franz, clank. He gives it to Jalen Suggs. That's the only person hitting their shot consistently. Him and Wendell, only two people are shooting consistently. Everybody else clanking the ball. So it's not really a situation of just, oh, he's just so inefficient. It's a fact that our whole team's offense as a whole is inefficient. We haven't even had a top 15 offense in like over 10 years. I was about to say
it's too slow too.
Yeah, like
the Raptors generated last year. The Raptors had a pretty ass offense and defense, but I will tell you this: middle of the season, I checked, and they were almost number one in terms of shot quality generated across the league. That offense that Darko is running is evolved. The pieces are not. Okay, add in the fact that they had a lot of transition, a lot of, again, this is prisoner of the moment stuff. Scottie Barnes, when things were going right, when the season was still in the balance, was easily a top 20 player, easily, I would say top 15 player in the NBA. He was killing it. There were people giving him all. Ron's face says it all. Bro,
stop. I know you're a Raptors guy. You don't got to keep doing this.
No, he was
top
he
20
wasn't
player in the NBA?
Easily. Bro, he made All-Star. What are we talking about?
It's not a stretch. That's not a stretch. That's not a stretch.
Do I have to?
That's not a stretch. Scottie. What Scottie is around 19, 6, and 8.
Scottie Barnes at the 20 game mark, where the Raptors were, I think, 9 and 11. So they were basically 500 team. At 9 and 11, you're basically 500 team. They had a pretty tough schedule to start out. Y'all remember the Wemby game? Y'all remember the game against San Antonio? Y'all remember the game against Minnesota? Y'all remember those games?
Everybody had a game or two, Pin.
He was hitting pull-up jump. He was shooting 40% from three, Ron. 40% from three on decent volume. He hit 7. He went 7 for 15 from three against Boston. No, tell the truth.
34. He shoot about 34 from three. But he said he was.
He was shooting 40. Then he had a cold month where he shot 25. And there's a lot of stuff that went on off the court. Don't really talk about.
So are you saying he had a stretch where he was a top 20 player, or he was the top 20 player?
I would say he had a stretch where he was a top 15 player. He fell off to about a top 25, top 30 player. But what I'm saying is like
it's not a stretch. He was an all-star too, so it's not really a stretch.
He was efficient as hell.
Plays for a bad team like
he
Toronto.
Plays better defense. He's a great defender. I told y'all earlier, like the worst game of Steph Curry's life. Worst game of Steph Curry's life. Scottie was clamp. I was shocked myself.
Do you think he does that if Steph Curry was 4 years younger? No. That same game wouldn't have happened. I promise.
Steph Curry is dominating the league right now.
Steph Curry's been able to do that. Curry's year last year did not.
What I'm trying to tell y'all is that I'm describing fragments and moments, and people are like, oh, he's living in Toronto right now, so he's gassing up Raptors or whatever. Understand what I'm saying? I'm describing a player that by his head coaches was described as by Leonard Hamilton was described as Scottie Pippen meets Magic Johnson. That is the craziest high praise. You basically describing LeBron James, okay? Described by his current head coach, who definitely understands basketball, has been coaching since he was 16 years old, described as a mini Jokic, okay? Because of his skill set. And I'm telling you that he has beasted in isolation against Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo in the fourth quarter. The numbers say he is last year in the midst of a terrible season that he was a top 5 finisher in the NBA, top 5 fourth quarter scorer in the NBA on a team where he was not the first option or even the second option behind Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam.
Is he a first
And I'm describing
now?
a player who gave Steph Curry the worst game of his life. I analytically checked every single box plus minus in Steph Curry's life. It was literally the worst. Steph Curry couldn't breathe. And I'm also describing a guy who had a damn near triple-double in his first playoff game against Joel Embiid. Y'all remember that? When he stepped on Joel's ankle?
I remember when he didn't play last year in the playoffs because he didn't get there.
He played 3 games pretty much.
He played 3
But
games. He played 2 of them hurt, but the one game he played properly where he wasn't hurt. Joel Embiid put his foot under his foot and he twisted it and he sprained his ankle in the first game. What I'm saying is, how many players in their first game ever as a rookie coming off Rookie of the Year were 1 rebound away from a triple-double in their first playoff game? You're talking about like I'm describing, like you acting like I'm talking about Matas Buzelis here. I'm talking about a Rookie of the Year. I'm talking about an all-star at the age of 22.
We're talking Rookie of the Year versus Rookie of the Year.
Matas. Hey, but Matas, Rookie of the Year might be incoming.
How many players in league history do you know that could have even remotely guarded Jokic and Steph Curry in the same season?
Pin, I get what you're saying.
Count them out. Count them out. Draymond
I'm
is
not
possibly one.
debating the defense.
But Pin, that doesn't automatically make you a top 20 player. That's the only thing that I'm saying.
It's the rarity of skill sets, Ron.
I get that, but he has to put together too. Like we're talking about a lot of potential. We're talking about he does this good, he does that good. But Scottie Barnes is not, and you're making me get into a bag I don't want to get into because I like Scottie Barnes.
Man,
he's not a finished product. He's not a complete player. He has glaring deficiencies.
Facts.
He has things he has to work on. He's not a number 1 option as a scorer.
What did they say about him when he was drafted? They said zero level scorer. They called him a 0 level scorer, and that 0 level scorer averaged 20 points per game last year.
I don't care about what you project you to do. I'm about to say
hold on until it does matter because Paolo came in as a projected first option type of guy. Okay, Scottie came in as a Swiss Army knife, do it all, do nothing well type of player that might blossom into something. People called him a project. So what I'm trying to say is, just because Paul George in year 3 is ahead of Giannis in year 3, it don't mean that in year 5 those trends will keep up. Scottie's progression is different, like really different. Last year I interviewed his trainer Brian Macon, and he said this is 15%. That's the guy who's been training him since grade 7. He said this is 15% of what Scottie will be. Bro, you think I'm crazy? I watch Division I basketball. I watch high-end Division I players. I watch high-end AAU players that have a deeper bag than Scottie Barnes. I'm not denying that he's got a lot of holes in his game. Some of the self-creation stuff, some of the manipulation with the dribble. Bro, it's funny because Brian, I'll quote it. He said, the stuff that I teach, the stuff that I do best is the stuff that he's furthest behind on. But bro, let's not ignore what he does well. And what I'm describing is a player who at 6'8", 240 can guard 5 positions competently on the court. In itself, that is a starter skill right there.
Is this not Scottie's 4th season coming up?
Going into his 4th season, but there have been some.
My question for you, Pen, is how much better you think will Scottie get as a scorer? I know as a defender, he might end up winning Defensive Player of the Year maybe once in his career, or he's gonna be a decorated defender. But as a scorer, how much better do you think he's gonna get? Like in my mind, I think he maxes out maybe at 22, 23 points a game. If he's scoring 27 points a game, they're probably going to be a really bad team.
That's interesting. And if his skill set doesn't evolve, I understand what you're saying. But Jordan, you would know this. As a trainer, you would know this. Like, there is a massive difference between self-generation and you're creating the advantage versus someone else creating the advantage for you. It's a totally different skill set.
For sure.
So Pascal Siakam, right, like at the same stage of his career, was way further behind than Scottie. Same stage of his career. 23 years old, 23 years old, right? Pascal was basically New Mexico State at 22, right? He was a rookie. He's in the G League at 23. So the only question right now is how hard is Scottie willing to work to bridge up those deficiencies, because he's a better athlete than Siakam overall, like as a strength, coordination, all that stuff.
better athlete. He's a better
he's
defender.
a much better
He's
passer. He's a better defender.
passer.
All of it. Yes. Okay. So what I'm
I don't
saying
know if
is
he's a better
Siakam's.
passer. Pascal's a very, very good passer, though, by the way.
Scottie
I
Barnes.
agree. I agree with that.
That's
But-
where
but-
I'm at with you. Scottie Barnes is in that top tier passers in the league, if you ask me.
Volume of passing. Okay, so here's the thing. Shot quality matters to me. Pass quality matters to me. When I'm watching a player, right, and they're it's like, man, we need to have a deep discussion about passing. When a player sees the double and reacts and finds an open guy, and that guy hits a shot, we call that an assist, right?
Right.
But the greatest passers are the ones who manipulate the double,
Right.
and then find the pass that is the easiest shot on the court, not the one that's available, but the one that is effectively the best. So there are levels to passing. When you start to really slow down game tape and you really start to get into the minutia of it, you'll realize that a lot of times when Pascal Siakam is making a pass, there's a few things that are wrong with it. Number one, it might be off target. So now the shooter got to take an extra millisecond, 10 milliseconds, half a second to gather the pass that was slightly off target. Maybe it's off the pass radius. Yo, when we're talking NBA, we're talking fractions of a second. So the greatest passers are the ones who are on target on time. The greatest passers of all time are the ones who are initiating that pass, not reacting to the defense, but rather making the defense react to their offense. And that's where Jokic and Tyrese Halliburton, and I'll put Trae Young in that conversation. These guys are on a different level as passers. And then there are guys who are just functional passers, where like they could see some stuff. Joel Embiid, he can see some stuff. Giannis can see some stuff. Paolo can see some stuff, but they're not necessarily drawing into the double so that they can find the corner shooter that no one's looking at. They're not seeing the whole game 2-3 steps ahead. Scottie sees the game 2-3 steps ahead. His basketball IQ is literally off the charts. I'm not saying he's Magic Johnson as a passer, but he's a really good passer. He's a really good passer. Some of the passes I've seen this guy throw, I didn't see them, and I have the benefit of watching it from like the TV. And I'm like, how did he see that? There's levels to passing, and he is on a different level as a passer.
All right, y'all.
I wouldn't argue that, but
Yeah,
I was gonna say this. I was gonna say I wouldn't argue that, but him and Paolo, very similar. It's very, very similar. But my question would be, if the roles were reversed, if Scottie's on the Magic, does that Magic team look like that? And if Paolo's on the Raptors, does that Raptors team?
I think Paolo is better for the Magic. Paolo is better for the Magic because he does something for them, the shot creation, volume, getting to the line stuff that maybe they don't have. And they have plenty of defense. They have plenty of, Scottie Barnes-like defenders in the Jonathan Isaacs and Franz Wagners of the world to compensate for that, right? But I'm saying scratch Magic and Raptors out of the equation. I'm just taking a draft. Like, who am I drafting? Random team. I'll take Scottie 10 times out of 10 and twice on a Sunday.
And I take Paolo 10 times out of 10.
That's cool, man. And we will see. We'll have this conversation. I'm telling you, me and you, we'll have this conversation in 2-3 years. I'm just saying Paolo is way ahead on the skill side. Like, some of his skills, his bag is deeper, right? But when Scottie catches up, and Jordan, you asked me like how much better do I think he can get? I look at the physical advantages of Scottie. I look at separation. When I see Scottie bouncing in the mid post and I see him release, I don't care who the defender is. I've seen him do it against the best defenders. I've seen him do it against Jason Tatum. I've seen him do it against literally Alex. I've seen him put Alex Caruso in a body bag. To those out there think I'm glazing, look up Scottie Barnes, Alex Caruso dunk. Just look at that possession. Look at what he did to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He scored 19 points on the Bucks front line in the fourth quarter. I'm not stuttering. I think it was 17 or 19 points by himself. Trash spacing. Jakob Poeltl on his team can't shoot a fucking lick. So I'm just saying.
Jakob Poeltl is a hell of a defender, though, by the way.
He's a great defender.
Yeah.
Great defender.
All right, Joe, we got to move on, though, because we got to get to the rest of these teams.
Yeah.
Jordan, it's going to be on you next, and you have the New York Knicks. So you got to choose the two best players on the team, who you would say are the top two duo, and then you get to place them where you think that they lie in the league compared to
the two best players on the Knicks. Damn, because it's going to be funny. But I would have to go.
This one's interesting.
Yeah, because somebody might not like it, but I'll go Brunson and Randall. I mean, why not? I think those other players are complementary players. But Brunson and Randall is a good duo. Now we're gonna have to see where Randall comes back from his injury, how he plays. But let's place him. Let's see where we place him at.
All right, I'm gonna put the list up, and I don't think that's crazy to say Brunson and Randall either. They have proven that they are the two best players in the
They
past.
definitely, we got to raise them all the way up now. Let's go all the way up to
What's all the way?
past the Raptors, past the Hawks, past the Knicks. Yes. Put them above Jimmy and Bam.
Okay. All right.
That's where I would have them.
I think Jimmy and Bam are way too high. So this is like, I mean, Hallie and Pascal, Ron, how are you coping emotionally with this?
They should be
Are you
higher.
all right? We do a mental health check on you. Just
I'll be cool. I'm on vacation right now, so I think I'll be all right. All right, we're moving on to the next team. It's actually me, and I have the Boston Celtics. I think this kind of goes without saying that
You gotta easily put them number one.
That it's going to be Drew Holiday and Jaylen
Whoa,
Brown.
you are kidding me. You are lying on that one.
no, he's lying. For
sure. It's JT and
Chill is about to get off his plane right now and come right back.
You're going to crash the plane.
Jump off the plane.
We'll put him up there, even though I don't want to. But I'm not going to hate today, y'all. I won't. I will not
Tatum
get
and Brown.
hate.
Tatum and Brown probably the best duo in the NBA, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, they at the top of the list, so we'll see if they can remain there. Is there any discrepancies?
I don't agree with it.
You don't? What do you?
I think Tatum's a top 6 player in the NBA. Is he a top 5 player?
Not for me.
Be for real. Is he a top 5 player?
No.
Is he better than Shea? Is he better than Jokic? Is he better than Joel Embiid?
He's better than
Is he
Shea.
better?
He's
better than Shea.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's better than Shea.
No,
It's not close.
yo.
It's not close.
I wouldn't say it's not close. I can have a discussion. I'm just saying, is he better?
Jason Tatum is a two-way player, man. Two-way player.
And so is Shea.
Shea's not an elite two-way player, but he's a good two-way. He's not an elite two-way player.
Name one elite Tatum skill.
He's a tons of elite.
He's elite pretty much at everything.
He's an elite player, but what's one elite skill? That
Positional versatility, elite. He guarded center for them.
He's an elite player. Period. I think a lot of stuff with Tatum has to do with the moment. Like sometimes in the moment that shit looks shitty, and he's like, "What the hell, Tatum?" And he might dance too much with the ball, but skill set he's elite.
How's the jumper looking the last year though? The jumper's been shaky.
Very inconsistent. Okay. But he's an elite shot maker. Like he's an elite shot maker to where
SGA is a better driver to the rim. He's a better mid-range shooter.
I don't know if SGA is a better driver to the rim. I don't know if he's a better driver to the rim.
Is.
No, Shea's a far more elite mid-range shooter. That's a fact. But driving to the rim.
What's the gap between Jaylen Brown and Let's ignore the last 7 months of Jamal Murray. Like, what's the gap here? Or let's ignore is Jaylen Brown a better player than Damian Lillard? I'm not saying last year.
Yes.
I'm saying ignore the fact.
No, he's not a better player than Damian Lillard.
I agree. I think Damian Lillard is a better player than Jaylen Brown. And that's I'm basing that on what I saw from Dame in Portland. And I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt. He didn't work out last offseason. He had a divorce, got a trade. I'm gonna give him the flowers and just say at least it's close. Is it close? Or you could argue it, but it's close, right? So
it's closer, yeah. It's closer.
So I think the minute you have a Joel Embiid or a Jokic or one of those guys or a Giannis, it just puts you that much higher because you got that best player. I don't know. I'm not too mad at them being number one, but it's not obvious. Just because
I'm not gonna say it's obvious, but you got two-way players. Like that's very rare. Two-way players. Jaylen Brown is elite too. He's not as elite as Tatum, but no, I'm talking about two-way players as your best players.
Who's their best defender though?
Obviously you would say Drew, but Drew can't guard 1 through 5. It gotta be Tatum.
Guard 1 through 4.
Derek White.
Okay,
Tatum is a legit defender.
Okay. So here's the question. Take the context though. Sixers trade tomorrow. Sixers trade Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid for Tatum and Brown. Are they better?
Yeah.
Are the what better? Celtics better?
No. Are the Sixers going to be better if they trade for Tatum and Brown and they trade away Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid?
You have to give him a big man, but that's kind of tough. You know what I mean? Because Jaylen Brown and I mean, Jaylen Brown and Tatum plays with Porzingis. Like, you can't just take a big man away.
Okay.
And,
So if we put Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in place of Giannis and Dame in Milwaukee, is Milwaukee better? Who among these two, defensive stalwarts is doing what Giannis is doing for the Bucks defense? I'm saying context matters. Nobody in the league has a third, fourth, fifth, sixth option better than these two. I feel, unfortunately, because of our obsessive individualistic culture as an NBA fan base, we sometimes elevate players on great teams as being better than they really are. Isolate the variables. Jaylen Brown did not trade for Jrue Holiday. The Celtics did that. Okay. Sometimes I'm just saying, like, we sometimes capping on some players. And I think OKC
I mean, Drew, the Celtics got there they got there with Marcus Smart too, right?
Yeah.
Who's an elite defender. But all I'm saying is, like, I feel like Tatum plays the Boston Celtics way. You know what I mean? Like, he plays their style. I think you can open up his game more too. And I'm not saying, I see Ron's face. I'm not saying Tatum don't do his own thing. He does.
No, I'm saying, what is the Boston Celtics way?
I think him playing with Jaylen Brown kind of what you would call that, slow him down a little bit. I think the 20 shots a game that Jaylen Brown take, if you make Tatum take 23, 24 shots a game, you see a whole different Tatum.
You know what? Do this.
It's not about
KD and Book. We haven't talked about the Suns yet. KD and Book versus Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Swap the two. Okay, so you got a shooting guard and a small forward going out for a shooting guard and a small forward. Are the Celtics worse or the Suns better?
I would say the Suns got better.
Who got better?
I mean, because you got I get Penn's point. I get Penn's point is the supporting cast. It's making who Tatum and Brown who they are, which is a good point, but at the same time, delivering. Like, those two are delivering.
It's easier to play defense when you got Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis back there flanking at the rim. Al Horford's a great defender. There's no bad defenders. Derek White is a very good defender. Absolutely. Very good defender. And also, like, look at the spacing that these teams are working with. Hold up. Spacing creates driving angles. Spacing creates openness of shots. If I'm a star and y'all got these guys, I mean, the counter must be true. If we're going to give Paolo a break and Cade a break for not having enough spacing, can we give Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown some credit for having a little too much spacing? They got the greatest spacing I've seen in a long time. All these players are spaced out to like friggin' 28, 29 feet. And then you got Derek White, Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis flinging threes. How many of these players that we're going to discuss have a big man like Kristaps Porzingis as a luxury? Like, it's just, it's not entirely.
Why are people harping on Tatum's shooting percentage though from three though? He shot at 37%.
It's fallen apart a couple times, like in disastrous stretches. So it's different. It's different to be 37 and at your worst you're 32 and at your best you're 42. Then you get to 37. It's a little different when you're 37. Sometimes becomes 18 and 20 for a week, and you can't hit an open ocean. So I mean, I would like to see it be a little more consistent. I'm curious about the playoff percentages.
Fellas, we do got to move on, but Penn, you have convinced me, and I let the winning nostalgia take hold of me, but now I'm back. I'm sorry, y'all. I was elsewhere. I'm back to
what you supposed to though. I think you're supposed to, man. It's like you got to beat the champ. Like I think we can't just like overlook winning because then.
This is like people putting Jokic and Murray at number one last year. Why?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I brought the Celtics.
They were a good duo.
Where they need to be. They are now the number 4 duo on the
Oh my God! What the hell?
Thank you, man.
No, they better than Brunson and Randall.
Whoops.
They're better than Brunson and Randall and Embiid and Maxey.
They're better than Brunson and Randall.
You know that Ron already don't want to give the Celtics credit, and now you're giving him reasons to not give him credit. Come on.
Yeah, nah, you help me. You help bring everything to reality. You're right. I
regret it
in
immediately.
large part due to, like I said, that's really Jrue Holiday and Porzingis that needs to be up there. But
no, it matters though, man. When it
it's the best starting five. Is it the best starting five though? The OKC
it's the best starting five, but is it the best?
Man, goddamn, but hold on. The Suns got Bradley Beal too. Damn, Bradley Beal 30 points a game scored before. Like,
not anymore.
When?
I'm just saying, when he was with the Wizards.
Talent.
You're right. I'm glad
Talent.
you
And
said
now they got a
that.
point guard.
That was before that injuries. That was before he went to a new team. That was before
He
was
only played 1 year
flicking
with the
off his
Suns.
toe.
Dang.
Hey, listen, it was a lot of
1
stuff
year.
wrong
He
with
only
that
get
Suns
1
team.
year.
I'm not saying he can't improve. I don't like the whole players.
He can come back. He can come back.
All right, y'all. We gonna get through these next 15 teams. We're gonna do this quick. I got first. It's gonna be on you, MTL, and you got the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, so the Spurs is Wemby and whoever. No, I'm just playing. It's Wemby.
Wemby and CP3.
No, it don't got to be Wemby and CP3. There was like 6 names I said before CP3. I'm sorry. No, I'm guessing it. I'm guessing it, but
don't make this mistake.
Hey, I got 6. If you don't got 6, I got 6.
MTL, you need a lifeline?
Yeah.
You need to phone a friend?
Please give me some names.
Devin Vassell, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely Vassell.
All right. Yeah, we'll go with Vassell.
I like Devin Vassell. I'm a good Devin Vassell fan, but what Chris Paul is going to do to this San Antonio Spurs team is going to be incredible.
Like what he did to the Suns team when they got KD?
Bro, he's
they did that to him. They did that to him.
Right.
What he did to Devin Booker when he got to the Suns when they went to the finals?
He's a point guard.
What did he do to the Warriors? What did he do to them?
Well, why are we holding in on the one part?
Different. Like, yes, that's different. And they were hurt all year long.
That was his last 2 years.
Hold on. We need to talk about this. Look at the stars that CP3 has played with. Shea, right? Played with Shea.
Elite.
Played with Blake Griffin, right? Played with Devin Booker. He basically made
play with James Harden.
Play with James Harden. He's made everyone a better passer. A way better passer. I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he's coaching these guys behind the scenes, but I call him point guard whisperer. His basketball IQ is bleeding over to the players he plays with. He don't got to play with them for a long time. He played in OKC for not very long, but he's made these guys better players. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to do for their young kids, right? Because they got a lot of young players who are impressionable. Devin Vassell has a chance. Keldon Johnson.
Watch what I tell you about this. Chris Paul is definitely going to make Devin Vassell and
Stephon Castle.
And Stephon Castle is going to be really, really elite with Chris Paul. And Wemby, watch what I'm trying to tell you, man. He's going to do pretty much the same concept that he did with the Thunder, except with this Spurs team, he's going to have better talent. With the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the guy, but the supporting cast around the Spurs team is better than the supporting cast the Thunder had. With Devin Vassell, who can be a top-tier defender. Number one, Devin Vassell is a really good on-ball defender. That's number one. Number two, he can be a really, really good shooter. He can be a way better scorer if you get a point guard like Chris Paul that can distribute to that floor spacing with Wemby. I'm telling you, man, like, I believe in Chris Paul. There hasn't been very many point guards that can manipulate the game the way Chris Paul has.
Yeah, you're right. In his prime. Chris Paul at 40 years old.
Out of his prime.
Chris Paul at 40 is not doing these things.
But I think people always do this especially when a player leaves the Warriors. Like, they talk bad about Kelly Oubre when he left the Warriors. And I say this all the time. Every player does not fit certain systems. Like, Chris Paul needs the ball all the time. Stephen Curry is best when he's off the ball, moving around. That's not Chris Paul's game. You know, he's like, for him to touch it, and then now he got to make a play off the drive, off a kick. It's totally different than him orchestrating.
But Jordan, I
agree with that. He's just not. MTL, I'm with you. I agree that he's going to help these guys. I just don't think it's going to be on the court. I think he helps them in the mentorship.
Good shot, Wemby.
Yeah, I just don't think he got it like that.
No, the game will be so much simple for him. Y'all know Andre Miller, right? You watch Andre Miller play till he's 40 years old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Elite. Why wouldn't Chris Paul be able to be elite like Andre Miller in his 40s?
At 40, though. He was a shell of himself.
Very solid.
Been the best 49-year-old.
First of all, Chris Paul is, Andre Miller. No disrespect to Andre Miller. No disrespect to guys like Mike Conley. But if you think the game on the level of these guys,
yes,
you will be effective in your older age, number one. And number two, you're not talking about Andre Miller and Chris Paul in the same sentence. Get out of here. We are talking about completely different quality of athletes. Chris Paul, do I need to run up some 2005 highlights for you?
He's not that athlete anymore. We're talking about Chris Paul.
Bro, he shoots 37. Hold up. You're talking about him like he's not a bum. He shoots 37% from three. He's shooting 37% from three.
Okay.
How many attempts?
Okay.
How are you gonna do that on one leg? How are you gonna do that limping up the floor?
That's why you got Stephen Castle.
He is still in a significantly above average. Bro, we're really not thinking about the game properly. If you have a guard who can manipulate the pick and roll and has even a half decent finisher, that's a skill. You'd be effective for a very long time.
I don't
watch Spurs.
I was a big Chris Paul guy. Yeah, I was about to say I was a big Chris Paul guy. Like what I'm trying to get Jordan to understand is this is the setup I'm talking about, Ron. When I'm talking about we keep setting up older players to get bashed for no reason. We're setting players up to get bashed. Chris Paul is 40 years old. Please let him go out gracefully. I don't like. I'm sorry, 39.
Don't age him prematurely.
Chris Paul is one of my favorite point guards of all time. I don't dislike Chris Paul at all. I feel like he was one of the best mid-range players that I've ever watched in my life. One of the best passers I've ever seen in my life. So many great things I could say about Chris Paul over the course of his career, even in the older ages. I agree with you. What he did for the Thunder, what he did for Devin Booker's first, like when he first got there. Hey, he needs a lot of credit for that. He is a winner, regardless of people calling him CP0. That man is a winner. Every team he went on, he's turned him into a winner. He's finally gotten to that part of his career where he's not doing that anymore. Him being on the court is not impacting winning anymore. We've seen it for now 2 years, about to be 3 years. If the Spurs end up being better this year, it's not going to be because Chris Paul is the starting point guard giving them 15 and 20 assists. I don't know why everybody
nobody said that.
It doesn't have
people
to show
have
up on
been
the
saying
stat
that.
sheet. No, but it doesn't have to show up on a stat sheet like that. Like I'm a huge Rondo fan, and I think that Chris Paul is better than Rondo. But the way Rondo manipulates the game and affects the game, and it does not show up on a stat sheet with assist numbers, that's Chris Paul. Like those guys have the ability to do that on a lot of teams, especially if you give them time, especially if you give them structure. They just have that ability. It just might not show up. Like certain things that y'all are looking for to see from Chris Paul may not show up on the stat sheet, but the way these players get organized, the way these players simplify their game when he comes, y'all going to be like, oh, well, he just got better. And it's like, well, you added another coach on the floor.
Yeah.
If every team could have a six-man, it could be their coach and they just allowed them on the floor, they would be a lot better. That's Chris Paul. He's the coach on the floor, orchestrating things. He see things before these guys see it. The game just get a lot slower for guys like Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, who's kind of up and down a little bit. He needs some maturing in his game. Stephen Castle's gonna need some maturing in his game. So Chris Paul's gonna help him with that. Like you just may not see it on the stat sheet, just like the stats don't tell the story of what he did with the Suns with Devin Booker's first year. You just may not see it.
Business. And he keeps it business, and he influences teams to win, and he's going to influence you to show up to the gym and play with the right effort, you know, and it's credibility. It's instant credibility. You're talking about one of the greatest point guards of all time telling you got to do it, and he's your teammate, and he's got a way to communicate it that you can understand it player to player. I think people are really sleeping on the impact he's going to have. It's a really smart move by the Spurs to bring him in, and not because he's going to average 20 points and 20 assists. He don't need to do that. He's 39 years old. What he needs to do is stabilize the ship. Basically, they're getting him to do some of the same stuff that Houston's getting Fred VanVleet to do, which is show people how to be a pro.
But you also got to, like Ox said in the comments with what's his name? Harrison Barnes. Like you add another guy like Harrison Barnes with him, who he can count on and rely on. That makes that Spurs team a lot better. Like Wembanyama shots are going to get a lot easier. Like Chris Paul in the pick and roll, even at 40 years old, he's still elite in the pick and roll. The mismatches that Chris Paul is going to seek out to get Wembanyama. A lot of young guards don't have that mindset to seek out manipulation of the game. They just play. They don't realize that it's a chessboard. They just play. Oh, I'm athletic. I'm just going to go dunk. Chris Paul's like, nope. Hey, set a down screen. Hey, you come hurry up and set the screen. Now I got Wembanyama on the guard right here. And I got Harrison Barnes on the opposite side, so make you help. Because if you don't help, like that type of thinking, Chris Paul is on that level. And You don't get that from a lot of guys. Like a lot of guards cannot do that in the NBA. I know y'all looking at his age and y'all want all-star Chris Paul.
No.
That's not what I'm looking for. I just know like certain players just do it. Like Jason Kidd would do it for the Mavericks. Like certain players just have that. Like that's what I'm trying to say, man.
And
J.
all right,
Kidd doesn't get enough credit for like what he
MTL,
did
you
for
gotta-
Giannis.
Yeah,
We got to get back to this list, y'all. MTL, where are you ranking Wemby and Vassell?
put them right under the Magic. Put them
Right
right
under the
under.
Magic.
Definitely
Under the
better
Magic.
than Vassell is a little crazy, man.
Under the Magic?
Vassell-
Damn.
I like
Right.
Vassell. I really like Devin Vassell, but
Right here?
I don't know if I would give him that over
Yes, sir.
Chris Paul.
Right there.
Over Trey and Jalen.
Trey and Jalen need to be dropped, man.
All right, over.
I
All right.
Loki, I see where you come from.
This is a
I-
group
I-
assignment, and Webby doing all the work.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Vassell just
Wemby
showed
is
up
really-
and got an A.
You know what? You're right. Put Jalen. I like Jalen more than Vassell. So yeah, let me go down one on them.
I think it's close between them.
I think it's close too, but
Evan's
I
really
think Devin
fair.
Vassell is better than him. Yeah,
right,
Jalen
Jalen's
Johnson's
bigger.
coming off one good year,
I like
brother.
that. I like that. Just like that, Ryan.
Next team is on you, Penn, and you got the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Jalen, hold on. Y'all really like Jalen Johnson because of one good year, if that's what y'all telling me.
You only been
Where
playing
they're-
for 3 years.
Yes, but where they were the worst team, one of the worst teams in the NBA.
They were a playing team, weren't they?
But we're comparing him to Devin Vassell, who has only been a marginally decent player on a pretty bad team too. He's been I don't know. It's fair. I think you could sell me on the
Spoon-fed
athletic.
Devin Vassell, damn near 20 points per game.
Mhm.
Spoon-fed, man, but he's not spoon-fed by Wembanyama or nobody.
That's fair. He's doing a lot
Devin-
of that stuff himself.
Yes,
I think
Jalen Johnson is
That's what makes him a
spoon-fed.
good duo.
Jalen as
though.
a transition athlete, though, as a bigger athlete, is appealing. But I could see a case. for
Devin Vassell is better than
over
him, man. They play Vassell at point guard sometimes too. Like he has the versatility to switch.
Yeah,
I cannot see how y'all got Jalen Johnson over Vassell.
They were putting everybody at point guard so they could lose games.
No, well, okay, I got you, but I'm just saying, Devin.
Yo,
Vassell is
we
better
got to
than
get to the
Jalen
Grizzlies
Johnson.
though, y'all. We
Yeah.
got some more teams.
we
We got to
gotta
dive
put
into.
Ja, and I'm torn here because I want to put Desmond Bain,
I like
do.
that, man.
It's gonna be.
but there's a
Bane.
part,
Who else
but
would
the
it
part
be?
of me,
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
So it's
between those two.
between Bain and Jaren Jackson. You're talking about somewhat the same quality of player, which is a sub all-star type of guy. I'm gonna put Desmond Bain up here just because the movement shooting,
I would go Triple J. I would go Triple J.
because of
I
the
would go
defense.
Yeah,
Well-
defense.
I'm
Triple J might be playing out of position too, man. I really think they explore him playing more on the wing this year, like a lot more on the wing. Because when they
Well,
had him
like
at the
right
small
center
forward, when they had him at the small forward, sometimes he looked really good.
Huh, okay.
see if it would be easy for me if Desmond Bain wasn't a good defender. But Bain's a good defender, great movement shooter. He could be a high volume creator for you.
Desmond Bain got some little bitty ass arms, dude. I've never seen a guy with small arms like that, bro.
Yo, I never seen a guy with small arms like that be a half decent defender, much less a
Yeah,
competent
bro. His
defender.
arms are tiny, bro.
Yeah, 6'4", 6'4" wingspan, 6'3" wingspan. Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, we'll put Ja and Bain. I'm gonna show Desmond Bain some love, but it's very close between Desmond Bain and Ja and Jaren Jackson.
Triple J.
And I'm gonna put them. Ja is nice like that.
Man,
I'm
it's very hard for me to get out of Jaren Jackson Jr., man. It's very hard for me to get out of that.
Okay, put JJJ there. Yeah, Jordan sold me on it. Yeah, put Jaren Jackson up there just because I think it's just when you're talking about duos like the guard and the big, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. And then now I'm a little bit more. I'm putting him above the Spurs.
That's it.
Yeah, because Ja is just so much
Put
better.
him
Man.
above the Hawks.
Definitely above the
Put him
Hawks.
above the Magic. That's.
I put him over the Cavs too.
I would too.
God damn it! Y'all gonna make me put him over the Heat. I'm gonna put him over the Heat.
No, man, playoff Jimmy is just something else.
Playoff Jimmy is also going to be 36 years old, so I think that's worth noting that
I'm
Ja
with
and
you.
Man,
Jared.
listen, and I know this might be very, very controversial, but listen to what I'm going to say about this. In this league, when it comes down to older players, I think older players can play in this league more than they have ever been able to. Just because of the simple fact that these young guys don't really know how to play the game yet.
Well, Jordan,
That's
you got to
fair.
factor in the league just went young.
But
we went through
No. The league's been trying to go long. The
What?
league's been trying to go long young the last 7-8 years.
No, I get that. I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying we had the 70s, we had the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, where players in their 30s were the staple of the NBA. You had to go to 4 years of college. You had to come into the league and turn into a grown man. You had to come and prove yourself. Now, if you get drafted in a lottery pick, you're almost certain to start. That was never the case back.
And I think that hurts. And that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I think that hurts basketball. I think that hurts the NBA.
I don't even think that's true. I mean, how many lottery picks started last year? Anthony Black didn't start. Derek Lively didn't start. Jarris Walker barely played. Grady Dick didn't start. Who started?
If you get drafted number 1, do you start?
You should start. You number 1 overall pick. And Zachary Sachet still might not start. That's a marketing thing.
Zachary Sachet is just not that good of a player. I watched him play in Europe too. It's a hell of a complimentary player. Just not a good, definitely not a number.
I don't know. I don't even know if there was a star in this draft. Certainly
no,
wasn't.
Yeah, but this is why I'm saying when y'all keep bringing up guys' age, like back to my point of like the age thing don't really hurt them in this generation because number one, the game is diluted. The defensive aspect is super diluted. Like, and it's like when people ask the question, does he play good defense? To me, it's kind of like, who does? Like, good defense is motherfucker still got 35 on you, 40 on you. Like, so it's kind of like I don't like when y'all say some players are like this age, that age, and it's like they know how to play the game more than these young kids. Like these young kids do not know how to play the game the right way yet, and it comes over time.
What you're saying. I get what you're saying, but there's a counterbalance to this, which is durability and value go down with age precisely for that reason. You can't play as many minutes. Usually, you can't play as many minutes, and you usually don't play as many games, right? And we got to slow some stuff down for you. We got to slow it down for you a little bit.
But the game is slower in the playoffs. Like, think about this. Like, they have dumbed the league down to where play-in, like, Jimmy doesn't even have to play so much in the regular season. He's looking forward to the play-in because he feel like I can just get on y'all ass and play in. And
the equation is not as simple as Jimmy Butler or Ja Morant Game 7 final quarter. Okay, now we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
The equation is who's giving you more value through 16 wins in the playoffs and 82 games in the season. Typically, it's going to be the player who's closer to 23 than 33. Usually.
But they might not make it to 16 games in the playoffs.
They might not. And at that point, we can have the discussion about floor raisers versus ceiling raisers. And, you know, you have a guy like Kevin Durant who's going to give you a lot of value later into the season. He's going to give you a ton of value in a crucial game 6, game 7 because of the IQ and stuff like that. But maybe, just maybe a player who's a lot younger, like a Tyrese Halliburton, you know, is going to give you more value through 82 games.
Let me ask you this, though. Who was let's even go to the Olympics. Who was the best player on the Olympics?
I thought it was KD, but some people think it was LeBron or Steph.
The oldest guys on the team, though.
But they also were the ones that had the opportunity, had the ball. And honestly, the game in the international game is totally different because it's slower. The court is smaller.
I agree. It's more physical.
The skills are exactly. And it's more physical. So yes, that is a game that is going to favor LeBron. But when the NBA, where everything's a track meet, and we're talking like you're saying the game is going towards the older guys in a sense because the younger guys don't understand hoop and they don't. I get that point, but the number of possessions we got to play, you know, this is a trainer. Like you got to switch ends, offense, defense. Everyone playing like faster than the Phoenix Suns used to play. It's not going to be conducive to older players necessarily.
I would agree. I agree, but I think in the playoffs that like no matter how fast you play in the regular season, in the playoffs, that always slows down. Like it always gets slower. It always boils down to one possession matters, not 85. We're going to look at this possession, the next possession, the next possession. And before you know it, you down 15 points. And if we got good clock management, you're going to lose. And it just comes to the point like I'm not one of those guys who's not, you know, obvious to I can see that the league has definitely gotten younger, and it is what it is. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. But what I am saying is the most dangerous guys in the NBA, when we talk about them, as far as winning championships, are typically the older guys. Like, nobody wants to play LeBron. LeBron gets a fighting chance every year. How does a 40-year-old guy in year 20 gets a fighting chance every year? How does Kevin Durant get a fighting chance every year? How is James Harden still getting a fighting chance at 34, 35 years old? How is Steph Curry putting fear in all of these young guys? Like, how are they doing that?
No, I get it. I'm still gonna put him just below because I am higher on Jaren Jackson. Like, I think Jaren Jackson and Bam is a conversation. I think Bam's a better player.
Jordan
Jaren Jackson, I would agree.
It's on you, Jordan, and you have
my team, right?
Team, yeah. Who's the two best players?
Damn, I'm biased because I don't like Jalen Green.
He's not one of the top two best players at all.
That's crazy.
Şengün is gonna be one for me. Gotta be Şengün. Damn. Bro, it's so hard for me to put Jalen Green in there.
Don't do it.
And I really like Jalen Green, but no, I will go with Jabari Smith. I'm a big Jabari Smith fan. Right. But I feel like Şengün definitely is in there. And it's like Jalen Green, I'm gonna take Jabari. I'm gonna just take Jabari.
You think Jabari Smith's a better player than Fred VanVleet right now? Next year? I think Fred's a better player than Jabari Smith. I love Jabari, but
next year I think Jabari would be a better player than Fred VanVleet. I think Jabari takes that lead. Jabari is really, really freaking good, bro. Like,
I like him.
Really freaking good. He's a hell of a defender. This is the type of guy I am. When I see a guy takes a lot of freaking shots, when they take a lot of shots, and then there's a guy who's efficient at taking the shots that he has, in my mind, let's go to the efficient score a little bit more. Rather than Jalen. Like, let me take 4 shots away from Jalen Green and add them 4 shots to Jabari Smith.
I had him number 1 on my 2022 mock draft. I had him over
Jabari.
Chet. It was my mock draft was Jabari, Chet, Paolo. That was my order for the top 3. So I had him over those guys. I would change it today I would put Chet number 1. But yeah, Jabari's great. He's a good player.
Man, really good player.
Where are you putting him at, Jordan?
We ain't gonna go that far. We're gonna go over Levine and Giddey. And we're gonna climb up. I got him right under Barnes and RJ.
You think they're better than LaMelo and Brandon Miller?
LaMelo's always hurt. I really like LaMelo and Brandon Miller. Really good, but are they gonna start him? Are they gonna stop doing bullshit with Brandon Miller?
I think they will.
They better. And
I don't really know.
The Rockets will smoke the Hornets too, by the way.
Does the defense bother you at all?
Huh?
The over-reliance of the pick and roll with Şengün, with Fred VanVleet. Like, I mean, he's going to be able to run that with Reed Shepherd for like the next 10 years. That's not a problem. But
it's going to be interesting how they even play Reed Shepherd to me. Like, I think the ball hops around a lot in Houston. I don't think nobody dominates the ball no more with solid guards like Reed Shepherd coming in. A couple guys getting better. Amen is getting better. So I think the ball hops around. I think the Rockets play far more of a team basketball. Yeah, go ahead and move that up, Ron. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got Zion and Ingram. We are going to. Ooh. And this is where it gets tricky. I'm gonna put him above Franz and Paolo, but that is the highest they're going. I'm not putting him above Mitchell and Mobley, not Hadley and Pascal, not Jimmy and Bam. And I like this duo too, but they got to show me something.
Drop him below Franz and Paolo.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're just so inconsistent with injuries.
I think Zion is clearly the best player in that group of 4.
For sure, but
how much better is Paolo than Ingram? How much better?
Not that much better.
Okay. So,
but as far as production, yeah, that's fine, Ron. That's cool.
I feel like in these conversations we keep missing the context of impact. Like, you can just draw a look at numbers, but the fact that Paolo as a number 1 option literally took a team that was winning 22 games a year.
So they won 50, right, last year?
Yeah. So why were they good, Amtel? You keep saying he took. Why were they good? They were good because of their defense. They're good because Jalen Suggs is a great defender. They're good because Jonathan Isaac had a healthy year. I mean, winning does not come because your star player is a good player. Your 20 points per game score 20
By the
points.
way, Jonathan Isaac, I keep saying this on a lot of shows, is one of the most talented players in the NBA.
Yeah,
Probably could be the best defender in the NBA if you saw him play the minutes everybody else play. I don't think it would be close who's the best defender in the NBA if Jonathan Isaac played the minutes that everybody else played.
Facts. Jonathan Isaac and Jalen
close.
Suggs, honestly, like their defensive impact last year did not get as much press as Drew Holiday, but it's right there.
Jonathan Isaac is
so good.
Name me a more talented defender than Jonathan Isaac in the NBA.
Listen, I'll take it a step further. If he didn't go through all the injuries he went through, he would honestly be the best player on our team. Like,
for sure. First of all, you would talk about Jonathan Isaac like you would talk about Kawhi a little bit if he didn't get hurt. Like the crazy thing he does on defense. And he's 6'11", not 16, he's 6'11".
And he's hitting the threes now.
Yeah, and his shot coming around. I was like,
he's a really good person too. Really great person.
I like everything about J.I.
I like J.I. I'm a huge fan of J.I. He very I really like his game.
Yo, MTEL, it's on you, and you got the Mavericks.
Well, okay.
So pretty easy.
Obviously, it's Luka and Kyrie. That's pretty obvious.
You're gonna scoop that up.
Yeah, we got some. We got to at least get them in the top 10. So
how high we going? How high we going?
Okay,
let's go. Gonna go a lot higher than that.
Damn, go up. What are y'all doing?
Oh yeah, they definitely
put them over the Grizzlies for sure. Now go up some more. We might have to put them over Brunson and Randall.
Yes.
Were you thinking MTEL?
I gotta leave him right there because that duo is not better than the Celtics duo. I'm sorry.
Are they better than the Knicks duo?
Well, the Knicks duo.
The Knicks too high.
The Knicks duo should be above the Celtics duo. So.
Ron did that. The Knicks too high. First of all, the Sixers are too damn high.
No,
the Sixers are too high,
man.
Randall is too high.
Respect the best team in the East, man.
Bro, the Sixers are too high, Ron. The Sixers are too high, Ron.
I didn't put the Sixers up there.
No way they're the number one duo in the NBA.
I don't disagree with the Sixers though at all.
I do. No way they're the number one duo in the NBA. Let's look at who's below them. Dame is better than Maxey, and Giannis is better than Embiid.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think Dame's better than Maxey.
That it. What?
I don't.
No, not after that year. You just said he has to have a good year.
Man, players have one bad year, and y'all don't care about what's going on in their personal life. You don't care about the context.
I do. That's why I said we have to see what happens this upcoming year. But if I'm going off of what I seen last year and looking at his age, those are two things that you could look at and say that's a respectful thing that could really happen.
Jesus Christ. The duo, Draymond and Clay. Draymond and Curry.
Draymond and Kuminga?
Oh my God.
Who's the son?
MTEL, it's on you, and you have the Warriors.
So this is Steph and Draymond. I'm not going Kuminga. Sorry. Wiggins. Oh, don't get me started on him. Steph and Draymond
gonna be traded.
Put them above the Heat.
Wiggins.
Put them above the Heat.
Yeah, put them above the Heat. That's as far as I'm going.
No, I gotta disagree with that one.
Well,
I don't even.
I might
know if I want to put them that high. To be honest,
I'm gonna be honest with you. MTEL. I don't think the Warriors make the playoffs this year, bro.
But
hold on,
but it won't be because of them. It'll be because of everybody else.
About it. Like, and remember, I did this earlier, and I had to call myself out on this. It is in there. Ben made a great example. So what happens if you trade Steph and Dre and you trade them to the Warriors or to the Celtics for Tatum and Brown?
The Warriors get better with Tatum and Brown.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, when you put those two around competent players, Steph goes Steph, and Draymond is going to unleash Steph.
Yeah, but they're not around competent players, so
hold on. Steph Curry with Drew Holiday and Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford and Draymond Green.
That would be
what the hell?
That would be legit.
What the hell?
That would be legit. But Tatum and Brown would make the playoffs with the Warriors. I'm saying Steph and Draymond not making the playoffs this year. Every time Stephen Curry has one star less, he's not gonna make the playoffs.
I think that's the thing about older players and younger players. Tatum and Brown are in their 20s, so they can carry you through they can carry you through the regular season. But Steph and Draymond, they got the mental stuff. I'm sorry, I like Jaylen Brown. He don't see the game the way those two do.
I agree, but I don't even think in Steph's prime. I only think in Steph MVP years. I don't think without one duo, they don't make the playoffs. That's been my argument between Steph and James Harden. And I'm a huge Rockets fan. Me and my friends talk about this all the time, and I always bring this up. James Harden can literally take any team to the playoffs. That's why he's never missed the playoffs. Steph Curry by himself cannot do that. He just won't do it.
Yeah, but also too, you could say James Harden on that Warriors team. He don't carry them.
James Harden never had to work with James Wiseman, man.
Shit. He did have some guys. Omer Ashik.
That's valid.
Yo, shout out.
Pretty bad.
But
James Harden is just like Steph is a hell of a player. Great Hall of Famer, but not by himself.
I mean, but that's the thing though. You got ceiling raisers and then you got floor raisers.
I think Omer Ashik needs some respect here. He's better than James Wiseman. Okay. I don't know where Wiseman's going to end up, but
this is on you, Penn. You got
I got to do my man Ox proud. All right. Bring Fox
and DeRozan.
No, Fox and
Murray.
No, Sabonis. Oh my God, why do y'all do guys like this?
Because Sabonis is an all-NBA guy, and as much as I have an issue with his defense, which I do, and his self-generation, which I do, I cannot ignore. You could say DeMar DeRozan can do a lot of amazing stuff, just the same way I can say Malik Monk could do a lot of amazing stuff. Malik's amazing, but again, Debo is what 36.
Oh my God,
it's the same shit. This is just an entire drive-by on everyone over 35, which is myself included right now. So
he's 34.
Damn. All right. I'm not. Come on, Jordan. You know who the ball is going through. It's going through Fox and it's going through Sabonis, and DeRozan's going to get a ton of buckets, and Malik's going to get a ton of buckets. But we know who their best two players are. I mean, again, okay, where are we putting them? Fox and Sabonis.
Oh wow,
Ron just put Sabonis.
Ron, you gotta pause that. That's crazy.
They've been hanging around too much.
Hey, he heard me deleted it though, so I feel you though.
Okay, put him above.
Pause.
The bonus pause. Okay, put him. Bring him up. Bring him up. Up. Fox is legit. Okay, I'm gonna put them. Damn. Okay, don't go too high.
All right, I'm gonna put him right here for now, and I'm gonna let you.
Whoa! No, put him up there.
Where you want him?
Right above the Pacers. Sorry.
I'm not mad at that at all.
I'm mad at myself for that.
We're talking about two All-Stars. See, so in these other lists, these aren't.
Who's better, Fox or Hallie? Fox. Fox.
I got Hallie.
Before they traded Hallie.
It's taken me a long time to come to terms with the fact that De'Aaron Fox is really good, but I like his defensive improvement over what I saw from Halliburton last year. His closing numbers are elite madness. Like, make it make sense, man. His clutch percentages are insane. So when the game
shout out to Rick Carlisle,
so yeah, I think
shout out to Rick Carlisle.
And I think Sabonis is a better player than Pascal. So to me, that's the thing. They have great synergy.
Sabonis get on my damn nerves sometimes, man.
Why?
I like his skill set. Defense, and it's like, bro, he can do all of this stuff, especially in the regular season. But when it's time to perform, I need you to have these breakout games. Like, I need you to break out and do the best you can. Like, I need you to give me everything you got in these breakout games.
No, I get it.
All right,
I get
fellas,
it. I see him be useless.
We're not going to be able to finish this list because we got to wrap things up. But I do got two more teams I want to do. Before I do these next two teams, though, we're going to go on a quick break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to finish out the rest of this division.
What up, PC Nation? Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this July with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced. Head to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 and use code playerschoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code playerschoice50 at factormeals.com/playerschoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Can we speed through these, Ron? Can we just speed through them? No comments, just speed through it.
Are y'all gonna do no comments, or are we gonna talk about every team for 10 minutes?
I promise.
I was
Limit to one
trying to
sentence.
see.
Just go for it because we got some really good teams left. Let's
All
go.
right,
turn
let's,
is it?
let's,
Quick,
let's go.
quick, fast.
It's on you, Jordan.
AD and Bron, obviously. Up. Let's go up. Let's go past the Heat.
Valid.
Up past the Warriors, past the Grizzlies, right up underneath the Mavericks.
All right.
Perfect. No debates.
Next, and it's on me. I have the Suns. This one's kind of easy.
Yeah, just go up. Right underneath the Lakers.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you putting them above the Lakers? D-Book's nice. AD nice too, though.
Listen, I'll put him right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's
We got the Clippers next, and it's on you, MTL.
It's Harden and Kawhi. Put them right above the Warriors.
Right above the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm putting them above the Grizzlies too, but I feel you. No pushback.
All right, we got 5 more teams. It's on you, Penn, and you have the luxury of the Portland Trailblazers.
I hate you. Okay.
Leave them right where they at, Ron.
I'm gonna go with Scoot and Simons. That's crazy though.
And they
No,
don't
what am I
move.
doing? Grant and Simons. Jeremy Grant and Simons. My bad.
Scoot is
And
crazy.
I love him, but he didn't play well. I'm gonna put them.
They
above,
don't move.
Now put him above, man. Put him above the Pistons. Below the Bulls. Jeremy Grant's all right. Anthony
Yeah.
Simons don't play defense, but he's all right.
Anthony can get you a bucket.
I like Anthony.
Simons a
Good kid,
bucket,
too.
which is more than I can say for some of these players.
Anthony's a cool kid too.
All right, Utah Jazz.
Who the fuck?
Laurie Markkinen and what?
Laurie Markkinen and
Jordan Clarkson, maybe.
Jordan Clarkson. Gotta go Clarkson. Put them
Keontae.
above. No, Clarkson. Put them above Grant and Simons. That's it.
Those last 2 are easy. It's on me. I got the Wolves.
Who's the duo?
This is tough. And I don't got much time to think on it, so I'm gonna go out.
And McDaniels.
No.
I really should do that.
Cat.
This cat.
Up and cat. What? Okay, fine.
I wouldn't be mad though. You talk about the best big man shooter of all time.
Self-proclaimed. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him right here. I know.
No, that's higher than Hallie and Pascal.
Yeah, this is all I'm giving him.
What? Okay.
You know what? There we go. All right.
I got Denver.
The Denver Nuggets. Yeah, MTL.
Easy.
Okay. Jamal Murray and Jokic. You can put them at the top.
Top. Okay.
At the very top of the list.
Yeah, as a duo, yeah.
All right. Like above Embiid and Maxey?
Yeah. I feel
Like
like Sixers
above.
should have been down. I feel like the
Yo,
Sixers should have been
that
down.
good, right?
All right. I guess. Are you sure you're a Magic fan and not a Nuggets fan?
Man, listen,
You got
I wish you
OKC?
were higher.
Tell me I got OKC next.
Yeah, you got OKC, and this is the last team.
Okay, I got Shea. Damn it. I'm thinking J-Dub right now, but I'm curious about Chet. So I'm gonna put Chet for now because I think Chet's upside is a little bit higher. Now move him up, move him all the way up. Okay. And put him above Damon Giannis. No, put him below
What?
Damon Giannis. Put him below Damon Giannis.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
SGA is good, man. And Chet is gonna be really nice. So
Yeah,
I'm not
SGA better
mad.
than Brunson? SGA better than Brunson?
I think he's better than Brunson. You don't think he's better than Brunson?
Tough conversation. I don't have a. I mean, I feel like you can go either one.
Jalen Brunson's great, man. The way he locks, the way he trails and locks, and like how he's a really good player.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the list. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Fellas, it was an amazing show. We got to run through all the duos. I hope to see you guys back here soon next week, and we'll get back to it.
Enjoy
Chat, like the
PC
video on
weekend.
the way out.
Sir.
All right.
Hey, Ron, I messed